me see. Full screen so I can see you being wow wow.
Bien guapo. All right, everyone. Welcome back to Offset Conversations here in Automotive Anime Podcast. Today we have an amazing guest. This individual, this lovely individual. I've had the pleasure to have met a long time ago, and it was one of the most, I guess, important moments, especially specifically on the channel, because it was a Cars and Coffee that I sent the invite to very specific people. Um, some that I had already interviewed, and some that I don't know, I just really like their vibes. And so Easy was one of them that I sent out to. And I think the Cars and Coffee started at 8. It was 9:15 and nobody had arrived. And at the park, I'm able to see, one way entrance. And so that was the most happiest time I've ever seen a 94, 95 Civic Coupe stock. I mean, stock, not even modified, stock coming through. I was like, no way. Easy came through. And that was the first time that we met. And um, just has such good vibes. And from there, obviously you've helped us out with interviews and other stuff, man. So Easy, the man of the hour, thank you so much for making some time for us, man.
Of course, man. Anything for you.
Get out of here. Is everyone gonna start the podcast like that? No, man. Plus the voice is captivating, man. Every time, I know I'm gonna put it out there, but every time I look at your videos, dude, like, your voice is captivating. I'm like, this guy needs to start a podcast. Just talk about anything.
You know, I would love to start a podcast, and my boss and I, we just talk about random things, man. And every time we're done talking, we're always like, man, we should just start a podcast. But it's like the randomest things, man. We'll talk about food, we'll talk about our cars, we'll talk about whatever, man. But it's a lot of work to do a podcast and be able to like have topics and just stuff that you can really just contribute to, and keep contributing about. So, but
It's easy
maybe
when you're
one
enjoying
day.
the conversation, though.
That's true. You got to have an enjoyable person like you.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, it's funny you say that, because one of the things that I always get from you every single time, seriously, every single time I have an opportunity to either go to Vegas with you or just have a chat, I always leave with the sense that you're that go-getter mentality. Like, you are always gonna figure X, Y, or Z out, however it is, whether it is with your car build, whether it is with family, whether it's personal stuff. Like, you've been knocking out of the park. Had you've always been like that, or something switched when you were growing up, or what?
Well, so like as many people, you know, growing up, my mom raised four of us
Oh,
by herself. Yeah, so single mother, and then my stepdad came into the picture. I mean, I was still young, and so I was maybe like 3 or 4 years old when my stepdad came into the picture, right? So then growing up, it was really difficult for me to understand a father figure, because I only ever knew my mom, and my stepdad was the definition of tough love. And so, like I said, I only ever knew my mom, and growing up, I never wanted to build a bond with my stepdad. And so, like, I've always witnessed my mom hustling, making ends meet for not herself, but, for all of us,
yeah.
and growing up, we didn't have everything that we wanted, but we definitely had everything that we needed. I don't ever remember there being a time where we were homeless, where we didn't have anything to eat, where we didn't have clothes, where we didn't have shoes, socks, you name it, whatever we needed, we had, and I like to think that my ambition comes from my mom. And, now that I'm older, I realized that my stepdad has always been my dad. And it was because of the tough love growing up that I never saw it that way, and I always thought, well, you're not my dad, so like don't tell me what to do and things like that. And obviously, teenage years were very rough, and you think you know it all and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But the same thing goes with my dad. It's I've witnessed him always working too, and indirectly showing us love, but in ways that we never realized because we were kids, you know. And it goes again, we've never had anything that we didn't need, you know, and it was always things that we just wanted. But my dad always provided for us, even when my mom stopped working, you know. So my mom doesn't work anymore, and my dad essentially just provides, you know, for my mom, my sister. You know, I live with my parents, but I do help out whenever I can or however I can. But my dad really holds it down, man. And so I just think, you know, having both parents being go-getters and really ambitious, you know, I think it just kind of stemmed off from there. And like you said, like whether it's for my car, my truck, you know, my mountain bike, like whatever hobbies I have, you know, I mean, you know how many hobbies I have, you know. It's just I just feel like that's where it stemmed from, is seeing my mom, my dad hustle and get what they want. Um, so I guess if that answers your question, you know, yeah, I've always been like that. You know, because I learned at a very young age that if I want something, then I'm gonna have to go and get it myself. You know, because my parents couldn't provide it for me. Not that they don't want to, they just couldn't, you know?
Hmm.
And yeah, there's things that I want even now that aren't attainable because financially it's not like in the means for
At the
it.
right moment. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll get there, you
Hmm.
know? I'll definitely get there. It's not like how I'm gonna get it, it's just when I'm gonna get it. You know what I mean?
It's funny you say that because, you know, everybody has different goals, right? And so obviously you've shared so many other personal experiences, and you know, you're like, I still have so many goals and I will get there. The thing is crazy to understand is that when you know a little bit more about the person, kind of like I know about you, the things that you've achieved and continue to achieve right now, it goes beyond of what you even maybe thought about um growing up, for the same reason that, you know, financially it's never been the same, the best situation. And then you take on hobbies, and hobbies are, you know, for the most part they're healthy and they're good. um and you've definitely made a big impact, at least me on a personal level, just seeing your your diligence and your resilience. I always say you're working on a car 95-degree weather or like 40-degree weather and on dirt. It's like, you know,
Yeah.
when you were out there, you know, and then you take on DIYs like, oh, I'm just going to learn how to, you know, paint a car. It's like, okay. And so you got your hat and it's like 100-degree weather and you're out there, you know, recording. And I'm like, God damn, like it makes me want to, like, after watching your video, like get up and go do something.
Yeah, man. I mean, it just it just comes back to the same thing, you know. I want something, and one way or another I'm gonna get it. You know, I've had my hatchback for going on 6 years now, and to the point where it's at now, man, without sounding too cocky or anything like that, I know I can take that car almost anywhere and it will turn heads. It will turn heads. And it's just something that I never thought was attainable because it just seems so far-fetched
Hmm.
and like so far out of reach because you know I got into cars because my older brother bought a 95 Civic Coupe.
How old were you at the time?
And man, I was 13. I was
Oh,
13 years old, so like 2008.
so eighth grade going to freshman
And
year.
yeah, exactly. And so at that
Did you say
time,
2008?
yeah.
God, you're so young. I was like, wait, did he say 2008? Hey, you're so much younger than I am. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. So 2008, you know, and if you followed Hondas pretty good, I feel like that was maybe like one of the golden eras of Hondas. It's definitely different now, but back then things were much more attainable and like like extremely desired after, you know,
Hmm.
and like Honda Tuning, Super Street, you know, all those magazines that everybody just refers to, and you know they always super cliche. Oh yeah, you know, I was looking through Super Street magazine and stuff like yeah, that was me, man. I was that kid at the grocery stores and stuff like that. Um, and yeah, so when my brother got that little Honda, he started going out with his friends, and there's one time in specific where he's now, one of my really good friends. And it's funny because it started off, I met him through my brother, but now he and I, man, that like I consider him my older brother. You know, he went to go get a clutch, and we live in Moreno Valley, and the clutch was like in Redlands or something like that. And so to get to Redlands, you can either take the freeway or you can cut through like what is it, Santi Motel Canyon. And so it was like 8 of them, and they all had their little Hondas and stuff. And they were like, "Oh, bro, what are you doing?" He goes, "Oh, I'm gonna go pick up my clutch." And I'm like, "All right, cool, let's go." And boom, man, like all these little 8 little Hondas going through the little canyons, whether they knew how to drive, like, in a spirited way, who knows, right? I was 13 years old at the time. I was just happy to be there.
That's cool. Yeah.
And in that moment, man, I think that's what really, really ticked it for me, And so I've always been like fascinated, like after that, like, man, these little Hondas are so cool. And so going back to like, reading the magazines and stuff, I've always wanted a car like that. And obviously both you and I know it takes a lot of money to reach a certain level, you know, either a lot of money or a lot of patience and hard work, either way, you got to pay for it somehow.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, man, I wanted a nice paint job. I talked around, met some people, you know how it works, you network with everybody at the meets and stuff like that. And so I came across a friend, his name's David. He owns a body shop. And I talked to him and I told him, I was like, look, man, like I'll do all the body work. I'll prep the car. I'll pull all the glass out. How much? He gave me a price and it was within my range. And so, I wanted a nice paint job and I had to do what I had to do, man.
So prior to that though, so obviously, honestly, the way you say it, like the way you said it, like it really took me back as if I was there. I can only imagine how cool it was, 13 years old, and you see like there's 8 cars just cruising. That in itself is really cool. And 2 in the canyons,
Yeah.
and 3 you're hanging out with older guys. It's like, damn, this is cool. It's like a brotherhood. And so fast forward to when do you actually get your own car, your first car? Because you're 13. So when do you actually get your first car, and what is that? Big ass smile.
Man, here we go.
Please don't
Here
tell
we
me.
go.
Please don't tell me it's a Ford Taurus.
No, actually, it's something that you're actually really going to enjoy.
Which
Believe
was?
it or not. Yeah, and I don't think you would ever guess it.
Huh. I don't know. What was it?
So, like I mentioned, I was 13 years old, right? I was transitioning from middle school into high school. And so I was doing high school, whatever, freshman year, sophomore year,
Straight A
junior
student,
year.
right?
Huh?
Straight A student.
Nah. No, I mean,
You weren't bad though, right?
I was just an average student, I guess you could say, but end of sophomore year and all of junior year, I started to really like slack off in school and like ditch class and, and stuff like that, and I was headed down the wrong path, and the only way I would have been the only one in my immediate family to not graduate high school. So that would have been a really terrible feeling. So I spoke to some counselors and I just ended up getting homeschooled. And so I was 16 years old at the time when I started doing homeschool. So to make up for half a year of sophomore year, to make up all of junior year.
You were that behind.
And then to make up for going into senior year, I decided to do homeschooling and I was able to catch up on everything, man, to the point where I actually graduated 6 months early.
Oh, shoot. That's awesome.
Yeah. So being that I was homeschooled, I could finish my work, and my work ethic is pretty consistent if I stick to it and if I really want to, you know what I mean? So I would finish whatever I needed to finish for the day, for the week, whatever. And so I had some free time, you know, and I started working at a fast food joint. At Pollo Loco. I started working at a Pollo Loco that
Dope.
my
Free food
friends.
every day.
Yeah. So one of my friends' dads was like a general manager for the Pollo Loco that I worked at. And so I asked him, yeah, they got me a job. The problem was the job was in Paris and I live
Oh,
in Moreno Valley. Yeah. So it was
ooh.
maybe like a 15-20 minute drive or so,
They
right?
like
So
you, but not that much, huh?
yeah. So my mom would take me and drop me off and pick me up. And, I mean, a few months went by and it got annoying, right?
Hmm.
Because I started to learn what it is to actually work and stuff like that. And, you get tired. Doesn't matter what kind of job you have, you get tired,
Hmm.
And so, like, I just wanted to be picked up or drive home, whatever, right? I didn't have a license. I didn't have a license. I was 16 years old. And one day out of nowhere, my dad bought a 1987 Honda Accord,
Mm.
a third gen with the pop-up headlights. And so he didn't necessarily give it to me. He said, here, you can start driving this to work, but
Ooh.
only to work. And so that's what I started driving to work, man. And, a couple months go by and I'm like, fuck that. This is my car.
How did you
And
like the
so
car?
like,
Honest.
loved it.
Aside
Oh
from the
man.
fact that it's like a first car and you just get to drive it, like, did you like the way it looked? Did you like the way it
Oh, I
featured?
loved it,
Was it
man.
automatic
I
or manual?
absolutely loved it. It was an automatic.
Okay.
But trip out on this, it was carbureted.
Hmm. And how was that? Scary?
Not really. I mean, it just drove like a regular car to me. I at the time, I really didn't know anything about anything. So I was just kind of happy to be driving a car. And so, yeah, it was a 1987 Honda Accord sedan. It was automatic. It was white, which, I mean, I love white cars. As you can tell, my hatchback is white.
Your
My
truck,
truck is white.
your old coupe,
And
etc.,
yeah,
etc.
my coupe was white. My old truck was white. You know what I mean?
That's right, the Ranger.
Uh,
Yeah, you're right.
And so yeah, so it was a third gen Honda Accord, man. And like a couple months after driving it, I just kind of took over it, and I started driving it different places and stuff like that. And so, I mean, being a 16, actually, yeah, 16 years old, driving, working a part-time job, making like $300 every 2 weeks or whatever. Dude, I thought I was
Baller,
on top of the world, man.
baller.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've been there too.
yeah.
Yeah.
But obviously, it wasn't enough money to buy like nice cars and stuff. So I just bought like eBay coilovers.
So you started modifying that car?
Yeah, I put some eBay coilovers on it, and I just dumped it, man. I dumped it on the ground, like did not care how bouncy it was because when it parked, it looked
Look
cool to
good.
me. And so, and then I bought like rotor slipstrings for it, and yeah, man, that's how that went. And I bought a hood bra for it because I always liked the hood bra look, especially against white cars. And yeah, like I said, I was 16, didn't have a license, got pulled over one day. They impounded the car because I didn't have a license.
Oh shoot.
Yeah. And I mean, it just wasn't worth. Well, actually, it was a weird time because I was like 16 going to 17. My birthday's in June, so it was like middle of the year. And I think I was still 16 or I just turned 17, whatever. But the car got impounded. I didn't
Mhm.
have my license, right? So I was a young kid, scared, damn, I got to go to court. I never went to court, so I lost my driving privileges, you
Oh
know. So my
wow.
license my license got suspended because of that.
Whew.
Yeah, my license got suspended because of that, and I did not get my license until I was 19.
Wow.
Yeah, and so because they impounded the car, like I really didn't know what to do. My dad was like pretty upset at me,
Hmm.
understandable, and we just kind of let the car sit there, and that was that. And like
Never.
I said, huh?
You guys never took it out.
No, no, I mean, dude, I think my dad bought it for like 300-400 bucks. Back when Hondas weren't how
Yeah.
they are now, right?
Yeah. Damn. That's crazy. So
Yeah,
19, you finally get your license. I didn't know
Yeah,
that. I didn't know that could happen. That could be the
yeah,
consequences of that.
it turned into like a failure to appear and stuff like that, and the fines just started stacking up and stacking up, and what went from like a maybe $200-300 ticket turned into like a $3,000-4,000 ticket.
Oh,
Yeah, man, I have to pay a lot of money to get my license back, or to have my license, because I mean I never had it.
that's true. That's true. Oh shoot, man! I didn't know that
Yeah,
about you. That's crazy. So
yeah,
then,
man.
so when do you start making poor decisions by buying Civics? Because you started off the right path.
So, man, all right. So, started working when I was 16, right? Got the taste of a little bit of money, you know, and then living with my parents. It wasn't too bad, because when I lost the car, I couldn't go to work. And so I kind of just quit that job, just stopped showing up to that job. I
Mhm.
mean, I was young. I wish I could have done things differently, but ultimately, like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And so when I turned 18, I was like, well, I'll just get a warehouse job, but I still need to go to work. Well, my brother had bought a 94 Integra,
Ooh.
and it was a beater, man. It was a beater. I think he bought it for like $900. And, obviously me being young and not really having any money, I told him, I was like, hey, let me get that car in payments. And so he's like, whatever. And so, yeah, so then I got a 94 Integra, and I was working warehouse jobs, bouncing around from there. And then, man, like, I'm telling you, dude, like, the Honda scene back then was extremely different than what it is now. For some freaking reason, back then, the thing was to get a car and just keep trading it. Like, Craigslist was popping, bro. Facebook groups were, popping. People would post up their cars, oh, looking to trade for this, yada, yada, yada. And yeah, we just sign over pink slips and that's it. So then I traded that Integra for, I traded that Integra for a 93 Civic hatchback.
Ooh. Okay.
And I drove that for a long time, man. And I really liked that car until I showed it to my friend Raul. And he looks at the headliner and he's like, hey, fool, what's wrong with the car? I was like, I don't know. Like, it's a single cam. He goes, nah, look at the headliner. And he like pulls it off and the car's been cut and welded. Yeah, the
What?
car's been cut and welded. And so once I realized that, I mean, I put it up for trade. And then,
Wow.
yeah, man.
80. Your friend Raul has a good eye. You're just happy to be driving a hatch.
Yeah, exactly. And so I put that car up for trade and I get a red EM1. I had I had a red 99 EM1.
Don't you
Mind
wish,
you, bro, I was 18 years old and
don't
I've
you wish
already
you would have
flipped
kept
through.
that?
Yeah, mind you, I was 18 years old, bro, and I've
Wow.
already flipped through like 4 cars. So then I had that red EM1, drove that for a little bit, and then I really liked the Integra. I really, really liked the Integra, man. So I put the EM1 up for trade, and then I got a black JDM front end Integra, a 95.
At 19, 18 years old?
Yeah,
That's a big
yeah,
deal.
it was, man. It was.
That's a big deal. Did you understand how big of
I
a deal it
did.
was to get the JDM front end and
I
the
did.
and the
Yeah,
work, the
yeah,
labor behind it?
yeah. No, I really did, man.
Wow.
And so I had that car, and dude, I loved it. JDM front end. I think it had like a B20 in it. It
Okay.
had a B20, whatever transmission at the time it was. It had TN coilovers, and it had the ITR 4x114
Mm-hmm. Suspension,
setup. The
not
wheel
core.
setup. Yeah, and so like, dude, I thought that was cool. Did I really know what it was? Not really, but I just knew that it was different. And so, like I said in the beginning, my brother had bought this Integra for like $900, and I was supposed to be paying him for it. but I'm bouncing from warehouse shop
Hijo
to
de la
warehouse shop.
chica. Those $900 are still there.
Well, I mean, I was paying him when I could,
Nah, I
and
get you.
so I mean, bro, I'm telling you, this point in my life was extremely like weird, bro. Weird. Because when I turned 18, as soon as I turned 18, man, I left my parents' house. I left my parents' house and I went to go.
Independency. Not listening to
Yeah.
the rules. I know it all. Oh,
Yes,
I love
exactly,
it.
man. And I got an apartment with some friends and stuff. And so obviously I had to work and give my end of the rent and stuff. But
You can't just open up the fridge and then there's food. No, ¿verdad? Now you have to
yeah,
go to work.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Been there.
that really put things into perspective, like damn, like this is really hard. And so like I wasn't really able to give my brother money and stuff like that. And my brother ended up taking the car.
That
Yeah, my
JD
brother,
in front end.
yeah, my brother ended up taking the car, and me and my brother had a huge falling out, and it
Yeah.
sucked. But I mean, like looking back, going through like all the stuff that I went through, my brother could have been going through something even worse, and just out of desperation did what he had to do.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I hated him, but like I said, looking back, I mean, he did what he had to do, and I mean, it is what it is.
I mean, you can also look at it from his side. Like you don't have
Yeah,
money. You don't.
exactly,
You don't have money to pay me back, but you keep getting a new car. Like that takes some money
exactly,
somehow.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so after that Integra, man, dude, I was walking to work. I was walking to work, and
Wow.
I was I was walking to work, and then I started working at Round One at the mall, and I would walk there, or I'd ride my BMX bike. I was really into BMXing when I was, in high school and stuff like that. Um, and so, like, I realized, like, damn, dude, like, I need to get my. Stuff straight. And so then I started paying off my ticket to get my license back. I
Oh,
was
you still
saying,
have that in the background. You're right. Oh,
yes, man, yeah. So I'm like, okay, I really got to like buckle down and like, because this sucks, like walking everywhere. And so I was still, you know, apart from like bouncing from job to job, I was bouncing from place to place, crashing at different friends' houses for a few months and stuff like that. Like it was bad, man. It was bad. And I really don't know what I was thinking, but it is what it is.
Well,
It's all
do you think it was a little bit of like the ego that I'm not gonna go back to my parents?
exactly what it
Oh,
was.
okay. Mm-hmm.
Exactly what it was. But honestly, like looking back, I don't think I would have done things differently.
Hmm.
I don't think I would have done things differently. And I'll get back to that, once I finish telling you on how I made the decisions to buy Civics. So I figured, I really need to get my stuff straight and start paying off this ticket to get my license. So I started picking up more hours at work. It's still a part-time job, and I'm still having to pay rent and stuff wherever I go. So I could send like $100 there, $100 there, yada, yada, yada. And eventually I paid off. I paid it off. And then one of my other friends was like, hey, dude, like we're hiring over here at Moss Brothers Dodge. And I was like, oh, cool. Like, what's the position? And it's just like a sales porter, just driving the cars whenever they get
Mm-hmm.
sold and stuff. And obviously you need a license for that. So I got my license.
Ooh.
I moved back to my parents' house finally after like a year and a half of moving out. And so I moved back to my parents' house, and my dad it was a 95 Nissan hardbody truck.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, dude. So my dad was like, look, like you need to get to work, just drive the truck. You have your license, put the insurance under your name. So I did.
Expensive insurance, but good.
But I did it.
Mm-hmm.
And so working a full-time job now at Dodge, it made a huge difference. And I was working a lot, man, at Dodge. I mean, at the time I was making like $9 an hour. $9 an hour. I think it was like 2012, you know, and then they gave me a small pay bump at like $10 an hour.
Baller.
Baller, bro. I was getting 12, $1,300 checks, every 2 weeks because I was working that much.
That's
It
good
was,
money. Even
it,
now, even now, as you said that, that's 2,500, 3 grand. That's good money, especially for a young guy.
for a 19-year-old, bro, like, and so I told my dad, I was like, Dad, let me buy the truck off of you. And he kind of laughed. And I was like, no, like, I'm serious. Like, I have some money. Like, let me buy it off of you. And he goes, all right, give me this much. Oh, I give him the money.
Right there and then. Oh shit! Someone adulted and grew up real quick,
Yeah,
huh?
man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and with my truck, man, I like having a truck is way different than having a car. You know what I mean? Like you really don't like, especially liking like cars, you really like don't really fit into like the car scene like that. I mean you do, but like you don't because it's not the same feeling. So then I lowered the truck. Dude, dude,
So
I
that
slammed,
deja
dude,
vu
I
moment.
slammed the truck to the ground, bro.
At this time,
Dumb.
it was yours though. Now, right? It was
Yeah,
it.
it was mine. It was
Okay,
mine.
yeah. Your dad is like fucking idiot.
Yeah, he
Whatever. He
told me.
bought it though. He bought it though.
He told me, ¿por qué le hiciste eso? Yada, yada, yada. I
It
was like,
defeats
Dad,
the
it's just,
purpose of being a truck, you idiot.
yeah. So then I have my little hard body. And then, yeah, man, like I left Dodge, went to work for another dealership. And I was just tired of working at the dealerships, dude. So then I blew the motor in my truck because I was an idiot. It was a stick shift. It was a 5-speed. So I don't think I got a little race truck.
Is that the one that you learned how to drive manual?
Oh, man, I learned how to drive manual when I was 13 in
Oh.
my brother's car.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, I'd already been driving. Plus, my dad had that truck for years. My dad had that truck for years, man. So, I mean, I learned how to drive stick shift at a young age.
Explains why you were a race car and you're a little hard body. So you're working at
Yeah,
a different dealer. That motor says bye bye.
yeah, and so I'm like, damn, this sucks. So I get a $200 motor off of Craigslist, right? Drop it in, and it was cool. It was cool. It was up and running, and
It worked at the first time. You got it to
it
work.
worked.
You got it.
Yeah. I swapped the motor, and I got the truck running.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. And so after that, I was like, man, I'm really tired of working these dealerships. And so my boss now, before he was my boss, we were friends before. And so he was like, hey man, why don't you just come work for me? And I was like, all right, cool, like whatever. Totally different, change of
Field.
pace,
Mm-hmm.
And so I went from working outside in the sun and stuff to now having an office job. But I blew the motor again in the truck.
Yeah, that's
And so I ended up getting a CRX.
mm.
Yeah, I had a 90 CRX, man, and it had rust everywhere. But I bought it for like $250. Different times, man.
Mm-hmm.
Different times, definitely. And so I drove that for a long time to my current job. And then I was like, man, like I want something different. And then I started making a little bit more money, not a lot, a little bit more.
This whole time the truck sat, the hard body.
No, I actually sold it. I sold it with the blown
Aye.
motor. I sold it with the blown motor for like $1,100. Yeah. Yeah. And with that money, I spent 250 on a CRX. And so I was like, I think I could find the EG, and at this point, like, I've been around cars enough to kind of, know a few things. And so I was like, man, I really want an EG. And so I was looking on Craigslist, man, and I found my EG 6 years ago. 6 years ago, I got
What
my
was it?
EG. Where was it?
Mm-hmm.
It was down the street from my current job at a dealership.
At a dealership. Okay.
At a dealership, I guess somebody had traded it in for. It's a used car dealership, but I guess somebody traded it in, and it just sat there. They posted it on Craigslist. They wanted like $1,300 for it. So I tell my boss, "Hey, take me to go check this car out." No, sorry, no. I drove my CRX there on my lunch because I have an hour lunch. So I was like, I'm just gonna go. It's down the street. So I go, I check it out. I was like, yeah, this thing's sick. So I'm talking to the guy, and I was like, hey, so it owes like 800 in registration.
Mm.
Like, can you come down, on the price? And he goes, well, how much are you offering? I was like, I don't know, man. Like, what's the lowest you'll take? He goes, well, what are you offering? I told him, I'll give you like 400 bucks. He goes, make it five. I
No
said, done,
way.
done deal,
Damn,
done
that guy
deal.
was serious about give me an offer, huh? Shoot.
So then later that day, that's when I told my boss to take me to go pick up the hatch.
5 bills.
And in that moment is when I made the bad decision of getting a Civic. And
Five
it's been the one, man.
That's
It's been the
gangster.
one, you know.
She's been the one that wanted to keep.
And then
Wow.
after I had the EG, um, I had a 95 Accord.
Yeah, I saw that. That was the best car
Yeah.
you that is the build that you should have boosted. And obviously we know what happened. Well, okay, so tell me that story, because how do you come from an AG to an Accord?
Very, very, very thankful, man. And I know you've heard this name multiple times, and I have no shame in always praising my friend Isaac. That guy has helped me out so much with my cars, in life. Just the best friend you could ever ask for. And if there's something in this life that I really have to be proud of, is my circle of friends. Because for some reason, I don't know what it is, my circle of friends, man, like the best I could ever ask for. Like, hands down, man. I don't know what I did to deserve it, but without a doubt, I've got the best circle of friends.
You attract what you are. So I think that's what it is. You know what I mean?
If that's how you think about it, then yeah, But I have the EG. I drive it for about a year or so. It was a D16 Z6 VTEC, single cam VTEC.
Sweet.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. I spray piped it. It was loud. Loved it. Right.
Stemmed it.
My friend Isaac goes, you should put nitrous. So we had a nitrous kit. Small shot, 50 shot. Blow the fucking motor. I
I
blow the
wonder
motor.
why. I didn't see that coming. For these series.
So I blow the motor, right? And so I tell Isaac, I was like, well, I mean, you have a Z6 short block. I'll just buy it off you and just help me swap it. He goes, all right, cool. He goes, well, just get the car over here. I was like, all right. Car's rod knocking. I drive it from Moreno Valley all the way to Highland.
That's far.
I had at the time, I had AAA, but the one that only gives you 7-mile tow. Now, now I'm a little bit older, and I'm like, I'm just gonna get the one that gives me like 100 miles, so like whatever the maximum I could get, because why not? And so, anyway, so I got the GPS going. I'm exactly 7 miles from Isaac's house. Let me drop a gear and just floor it. Let me see. I want to see this. I want to see this fucking engine just blow. Throw a fucking rod out there, out the block.
This is more mature Isaac, by the way. And easy. Love it.
And it won't blow. It won't blow. I take it to like 7,000, 8,000 RPM. And it's just, rod knocking, just super loud, but it's not blowing. So I was like, all right, well, I'll just drive it to Isaac's then. And then once it gets there, we're done, right?
Wow.
So we get it to Isaac's. The car sits there a couple weeks, right? And then, man, I don't know how I got to work and back for a short amount of time,
It's a big ass blur.
Yeah, no, man, seriously, dude. Like that whole point of my life was so, like, I don't, I remember a lot of things, but like how it happened, who knows? But Isaac goes, yeah, we're just gonna go H2B. I was like, yeah, I don't got the money for that. He goes, don't worry, I got you. So he fronts everything, man. He fronts everything to go H2B. And it's a process, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And so Isaac had that Accord that he just swapped an H22 into. And he was trying to sell it. I think he wanted like 3 grand for it.
Oh, what a deal.
And so 95 Accord, H22, 5 lug swap. So I told him, I was like, hey, let me buy it. Let me buy it off of you in payments. You know, he goes, take it. Nobody wanted to buy it.
Wow.
Nobody wanted to buy this car.
It's a heavy Accord. Gross
Yeah.
together.
And so, you know, I said, hey, I'll take it in payments if you're down. Take it. And that's how I got that Accord, man. That Accord got me through the struggle, you know. And that's why I love that car so much. And so, yeah, so I'm driving that car to work and back, taking it to Disneyland, taking it everywhere, man. That car took me everywhere. And it took me a long time to finish. It took us a long time to finish the HCB and the EG, you know. And so we got into the hot time of California, you know, triple digits and stuff like that. And just like today, it started raining out of nowhere. Can't roll the windows down because it's raining.
Mm-hmm.
Can't roll the windows up because it's too hot. I'm like, man, let me just see if the AC fan will just blow air. The AC works. H22 swap 5 lug with AC Accord. And this is like 3 or 4 months after having it.
That's the first time you tried the AC.
Yeah.
You were just excited that it was an
And,
H22.
and so I love the car even more, you know. And then unfortunately, you know, man, I think like a year or so later, like I got into an accident. Somebody pulled out in front of me. I ended up hitting them. Car got totaled.
That's a bummer. So you only had it for like a year and a half?
I had it for a
Hmm.
small amount of time.
It sounds like you need another Accord in your life. I'm just gonna throw that out there, man. It just sounds like it. Sounds like you enjoyed it too much.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind it. I would not mind having another one.
Make it happen easy.
But knowing me, I'd go belligerent with it. Air suspension, fresh paint, nice
You want to
paint.
go VIP status, and I'm telling you, I think you should go like more like track. That'd be pretty cool. And then track it, so then people are
No,
like, "Oh, these grocery getters can be tracked."
no, because then I'd have a loud car. I just want a comfortable car, man. That's why I love driving my truck. That's
Yeah,
why
you're
I
getting
strayed away from driving my car.
old. You're getting old, my
Getting
friend.
old, man. I got gray hairs. Yeah, you know, and that's how I got an Accord. You know, and like I said, I have no shame in always praising my friend Isaac, man, because if it weren't for him, dude, like what would I have done?
That's
You
crazy,
know?
dude. Wow. So this whole process H2B is getting done on the Civic. Um, you finished the H2B before the Accord got wrecked, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah, both cars running at one point.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
How
And
was
that was
that? How was that whole transition? Was it smooth? The car was good?
yeah. Well, so initially we did an H22 in the car, right, which is a traditional H2B. So I went to go tune the car, right? And it turns out it's a bad motor. Just compression is super low.
Mm-hmm.
Made like 150 horsepower, which is for an H22 like
Obviously,
garbage.
yeah, yeah.
And so the car just sat, you know, like, dang, what am I gonna do? Like, car feels like crap, you know. So I really only drove with the H22, and maybe like a month, maybe. And then it threw a rod. It started knocking.
Damn.
Yeah, man. It sucked. It sucked, you know, because yeah, I had the Accord, but I wanted to drive my hatch.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to drive my hatch, especially because it was supposed to be way faster than the Accord. And the Accord moved, man. That car boogied. That car boogied, you know, for what it was. But it sucked because I had the cord, and now I had another broken down car because it threw a rod.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, man, I don't know what I did to deserve such great friends. My friend Omar, OG Works, had an F-20B long block just chilling at his house. And he goes, man, just give me like $400 for it. And guess what? He's like, yeah, just pay me whenever you can. So I go, I pick up the motor,
Wow.
and while Isaac and I were doing the H2B, he was transitioning from moving places. So the goal was to paint the engine bay in my hatchback while we were doing the H2B, but we just ran out of time.
Mm-hmm.
So the engine bay didn't look that great. So I told myself, well, I have a daily driver, and so
Badass
let me
daily driver, I should add.
let me take my time, and I want to paint the engine bay. So I go pick up the F-20B from my friend Omar. Isaac comes over, helps me do all the gaskets and all the seals on the motor, buy a new clutch, because I had got an eBay clutch in there. And at the time, I'm making more money at work, and so I could afford more things. I didn't really have, many responsibilities. Living at my parents, I had moved back to my parents' house too. And so I bought an ACT clutch for it, got all the gaskets, all the seals. I was like, I'm going to paint the engine bay. Yeah, so I did what I had to do to the engine bay. I did dash 6 and fuel lines. I did a brake line tuck. Did the S2000 clutch master cylinder. And the bay just looked fresh, man, after I was done with it. Got the F-20B in there. And then got it tuned. And then, yeah, it was cool, man, because I had the Accord. I had the hatchback. And it sucks because, like, shortly after I had the hatchback running, I got into an accident, with the Accord. So I didn't really get a chance to, like, have both cars, And then at the time, too, before I got into the accident, so I got into the car accident like February 2018.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like 2018 or 2019. One of those, right? It was in February. I had just bought my Grom.
That's right. You had a Grom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had a little Honda Grom. And so when I got into that car accident, I was riding the Grom to work because there's no way I'm driving my hatchback to work and back. Get pulled over and stuff like that. And at that time, like state refs started to be a thing
Mm-hmm.
really bad, And I was like super scared of that. So I was just riding the Grom to work and back, working back, working back. And it sucked, man, because I really liked that.
And it looks so
Really,
subtle because it only had the Acura TLS waffles. Um,
no, I had R32 GTR wheels on it.
oh, that's right. That's right. Like the dark silver, right? Yeah, it was OEM
Yeah,
color. It looks
yeah,
so. It was one of those cars that if you know, you know. Like it looks
yeah,
stock, just lower
yeah,
stock with the hood bra.
yeah, with the hood bro.
And
Yeah,
you got to know
exactly.
your hood bra. Yeah, it looks so good, man. I was like, I love Mhm. So then you were riding your Grom. That's
Yeah,
fun.
it was cool, man. It was cool. I want another one, just the way that gas prices are right now, and driving my truck around, or at least for working back.
Mhm. So then
It's,
that gets resolved. That one's driving good. Um, Fast forward, when do you get the idea to go boost? Because when I saw the car, I was like, dude, this thing is done. That's when we got the opportunity to interview you. That I was like, this car is fast as it was. Um, I personally thought it looked complete. I thought it was a great build for what it was. Then you hit me with like, I'm not content with this, I'm not content with that. So then all these other stuff. So where does that come up? Like, where do you get the idea to go boost, redo the engine bay, et cetera, et cetera?
so the car's been down a few times, and every time it's gone down, I've always brought it out better. Whether it's something that somebody else can see or something that I know is better, right? Because ultimately, like, it's my car,
Mm-hmm.
and that's all that matters is that if I'm content with it, you know. But I was never really like content with it. You know, every time it went down, I was like, well, now it's time to do this because I've been putting it off because I just want to drive it. And now that I can't drive it, let me do this, you know? And so, like I said, every time it goes down, I always make sure that it comes back better. Um, the idea of boost is just, I've always wanted a turbo car. As a kid, man, hearing turbo cars, just knowing about turbos and, you know, hearing the blow off valves and stuff like that. And I just always wanted one. Turbo Hondas, bro, they're nothing to mess with. You know, they're fast.
Yeah.
They're fast. You know, my car made 360 wheel horsepower on 7 pounds of boost. That's nothing.
That's insane. Yeah.
That is nothing. 7 pounds of boost is nothing. Um,
And reliable
but,
too.
well, yeah. You know, so
In general, I'm not saying your car. I'm just saying in
yeah,
general.
yeah. We'll get there. We'll get there. Yeah, so I don't know. I just wanted a turbo car, you know, and obviously as you know, making more money and stuff like that, it just happens, you know. It just happens. It costs money to go turbo. I was able to sell like my header, my intake box, um, little things here and there, right, to help with the turbo stuff. And it's just really just wanted a turbo car for once, you know, and here we are. There's really no specific reason other than I wanted to.
You just wanted it to. You
Yeah.
knocked it out of the park, dude. You went heavy on the, like, when you say you're gonna go turbo. I was like, okay, cool. You're gonna go turbo. You're gonna keep it simple, and then um, you're like, oh, I'm also gonna do this and power quit this, and oh, well, the
Yeah.
engine's out, so might as well do the engine bay. Oh, and then this, and then I was like, dude, this is like, as you're telling me all of this, I'm like, how the heck is he gonna pull it off? And then the amount of time, because you're like, I don't want the car to be sitting such a long time, right? Um, Now that the car it was giving a little bit of issues once you were done with it. What is the current state of the car now?
The current state of the car now, I mean, I have an oil leak that I need to address, and it's leaking from the cam seals, and it's a pretty bad leak. The few times that I've driven it, I've been scared shitless because you know, oil and fires and stuff.
Yeah.
So I need to address that, and then I just need to go take it to get retuned. Um, but other than that, I think, you know, after I get tuned, I think the car should be done for a while.
He says
I'm not gonna say done, but it should be done for a while. You know?
it's looking good. Yeah, I'm extremely excited about that car, and just for you to drive it. The one time we hung out with Eric, and we had the pizza on the way back. The way you were smashing on the 5, man, I'm like, damn, the car looks aggressive. I think there was a newer Accord that tried to kind of get on it. He just boom passed him, and he was like, "What the hell?" Like, he looked at me like, "What's in that thing?" And I was like, "Damn!" Like, and then that's why obviously that was, prior to you doing all these crazy stuff. So I'm definitely excited about that, and that car definitely that car is you, man. Like it's cool. Like wherever you see it, it's like, okay, Easy's around, and I personally, and I'll be honest with you, I personally like the fact that you give two craps about whether someone's gonna like or dislike what you do to your car. I love the fact that you're taking that and saying, it's my car, I'm gonna build it, whether you like it or not. If you like it and you give me a compliment, cool, appreciate it. If you dislike it, doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say that I don't care that people like it or don't like it, right? Because if people like it, yeah, it makes me feel good, right? If people don't like it, I mean, it doesn't bother me to the point where I'm gonna cry about it, but I'm like, oh damn, like whatever, you know, but not enough, like I said, for it to bother me. Because obviously it feels good to do something or produce something that people like. You know, it's a good feeling. Huh? And like you said, that car is me. You can see that car somewhere and distinctively know that it's mine. You know,
it stands out among all EGs, and I know that's no disrespect to other EG owners. It stands out, in my opinion, from the way I
Yeah.
see it. Like right away, there's some cars that I look and I'm like, is that so and so? And then I have to really get close to it. I don't have to do that with yours. Now specifically, I definitely don't. I can do it. Where's the highlighter calipers? Oh,
Yeah.
there it is. And that's what I mean. I mean, you decided to go on that route of the color scheme that you went with, and the details and how you took it from your engine bay to the outside. You could have easily just said some mag blue TEs. You know what I mean? And that would have worked. But that's
I
not you.
just, yeah, yeah. I mean, I do want some TEs.
I hate TEs, by the
I,
way. They look great on
I don't,
everything.
and that's the other thing too, right? Is that, oh, everybody has TEs. Yeah, well, everybody has EGs. Everybody has K swaps. Everybody has B series. Everybody has HTV. Who cares?
I legit don't have none of those. None of them.
You're different. You're unique.
I'm
You're
unique.
what people strive to be. Seriously.
No, man.
Seriously. Everybody, look, man. Everybody wants to be so different because so and so has this, so and so has that. Who cares? Who cares? You throw your own little touches into your car that make it your own. If you like TEs, then get TEs. The difference, you might like a 245/40 tire, and this guy might like a 205/50. Make it your own. I run 225/45 tires on my car on a 15/7 wheel. That's a little bit too much tire for that size wheel,
Never.
But the way that the sidewalk comes, and it kind of like passes the lip of the rim,
Beautiful.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at my rear fitment, it's not a stance car, but the tire, barely missing the wheel well. I rub if I turn hard enough. I don't, my fenders aren't rolled or anything.
Really?
No, I think I just kind of bang them in with the mallet and that's it. But they're not actually like flat.
Your BFH, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing, right? Is that who cares if somebody has TEs or somebody has, I don't know, whatever wheels, Regamasters. Everybody has Regamasters too.
Yeah, finally I have something.
If you like it, you like it.
No, yeah.
And you just got to make it your own. And I feel like I've made my car my own. I've made my car my own, and it's not because I wanted to be different than everybody else. It's just what I wanted. And you know what? If I end up getting tired of the gray and neon yellow scheme, I'll change it, because that's the part. That's the fun of having a car like this. That's part of the journey of a build. It's never ending, and you don't have to do drastic changes, but whatever changes you make is part of the journey.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree. I mean, as much as I talk so much smack, I'm a huge lover of the RPF ones, man. I love RPF ones, and they've
It's a nice wheel.
Yeah, they've been done, and they will be continue to be done in so many chassis. And I personally absolutely love them. I am one of those definitely more open-minded individuals that, however you want to build your car. I mean, I've told you many times. I told the people, at least here in the States, we seem to be a little bit more picky about the way we're very opinionated, right? People in Japan, man, they build shit, and you're like, how or why? And everybody's like, cool, man, welcome to the meet, and they're proud of it, and they're happy, and they go up like maybe I might be wrong, but it seems like they're more accepting, they're more understanding of like, oh, cool, that's your build, that's what you wanted to, that's what you decided to build. Here in the States, you do something like that, and it's like, people always have an opinion.
You get blamed for it, yeah.
Especially, if it's the very first question, are they authentic? I was like, come on.
That's with anything, though. That's with anything. It's just, I guess it's just how we are.
But I think having you and having other people change that mentality, being open and being, there's definitely a lot of people like that. And I think there's people like yourself that are gonna, speak about this and say, if that's what he likes, that's what he likes. Let him modify.
That's called being a big homie. You're somebody's big homie when you do stuff like that. they can come to you with ideas, and like you can tell them, oh, you know what, I'd do something like this, but like if you want to do it like that and that's how you like it, that's cool, man. But you got to give that guidance, but let them know, just make it yours.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Because everybody wants to be different.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be different, and there isn't anything that hasn't already been done. I've got a friend with the EG that has an SR20 in it. Not a rear wheel drive SR20, a front wheel drive SR20.
Ooh.
So if you went and you said, "Oh, I want to be different. I want to put an SR in the EG," well, guess what? Somebody already did it.
Hmm.
Somebody did a what is it? A 4G63 in the EG.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's his Instagram is like 4G63 EG or something like that.
Oh, I never know about that one.
No, that's a freaking Evo engine
Hmm.
into an EG hatchback. Like the wheel's never going to change. The wheel's a wheel, and there's just different variations of it. But to be completely different, it's not going to be possible. It's been done already. You can't reinvent the wheel.
Yeah. And I'm speaking on wheels, save the four lug.
Yeah, man. Four lug is cool. You got a lot of wheel options. Which
Yeah, for
one?
Civics, you get a lot, especially for the EGs. But yeah,
You got
five lug gives you so many other options, whole different plethora.
yeah, different offsets, different widths, stuff like that. And then it, as much as you try to be different, somebody already did it,
Hmm.
and that's fine. That's fine, and that's when your own touches come into play.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. So yeah, keep definitely building your car the way you want to your specs. Speaking of specs, how the hell did you get into so many hobbies? Are you just like adventurous all the time? 'Cause I mean, I see that I think it's been now, I mean, time flies, man. But I think if I'm not mistaken, the very first video feature that you did with Enjoy Light Drive Slow was Lease Integra, if I'm not mistaken. And I think it's been at least what, 4 or 5 of them after that. So you've been at it for at least a half a year.
Yeah,
And I've been extremely enjoying the video aspect of it. Obviously, you have great artistic eye, good products that you use, and I know how time consuming it is. So how did that whole combination come about? And I really like that you've been improving your setup, and it definitely is showing, not only on the pictures but on the video aspect of things, man.
taking it back to my older brother. You know, growing up, man, dude, I love my older brother. And I think he's the best brother I could have. Um, just wanting to be like him, have cars like him. Now he's an old fart, got rid of his cars, doesn't do anything. He just works out. He works out. He's an electrician and stuff like that. So yeah,
Is
I
he
mean,
the one that
he's
just
ripped.
he's the one that he just got married, right?
Yeah, he just got married.
Yeah.
Yeah, but um, and my brother met his wife somehow, some way, but she was taking photography classes in college, and so my brother started doing that, being around cars, reading through the Super Street magazines and stuff like that. Obviously, there's pictures of cars. I always thought it was so cool, right? Well, my brother has a camera. Hey, let me borrow your camera. And so I started taking all these Dutch angle photos and stuff like that, all
Oh
sideways and
yeah,
slanted. I thought it
look
was cool
great.
as
Yeah.
hell. I thought it was cool as hell, man. And it just kind of just started going off of that. And I was like, I'm just going to buy a camera. Actually, my friend Luis, uh, another really good friend of mine, let me borrow his camera for years. For years, man. Yeah,
Wow.
it was a Canon. I don't know what model, but it was a Canon. It was a nice camera, man. And he let me use that for years, man. And that's just how I started learning and learning and learning and learning. And so I've always liked it because it would be awesome if one of my photos ended up in a magazine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not that that's why I do it, but I mean, it
No,
would
it's
be
part of it.
cool.
You're
I just
you're
want to
getting better, and
progress.
it'd be cool. Yeah.
So I just want to progress and progress and progress. And that's how it started with like the camera stuff, man. It was through my brother, just wanting to be like him and picking up whatever hobbies he did. He used to skate. I tried skating. I couldn't skate. I was too fat at the time. I mean, I'm fat now, but I was chunkier back then
Nah,
as a
you're
kid, you know.
big. You-
But then I got into BMXing, you know. So my brother would skate to the park, and I just follow him on my bike. He'd hit the ledge, I'd hit the ledge. You know, he'd do this gap, I'd hit the gap on my bike, you know, and stuff like that. And that's how the photography thing came about, man. So since like 2012, like I started shooting pictures and stuff. The video thing, man, it's hard. It's hard, you know. Capturing the video is it's the easier portion, I guess. The editing side though, it's insane. All these people that do these cinematic and like crazy transitions and stuff like that, that takes talent. That takes like real like creativity.
Mhm.
You know, I honestly don't think I'm that creative. I honestly don't think I'm that creative, which is why I like the style of videos that I make. Nice and easy transitions, no crazy transitions, just straight to the point. This is what we're capturing, and this is what I want to see, and this is how I like it. And
I like it.
so
Mhm.
it's nice and simple. You know, I'm it's it's going to be kind of contradicting to say, but I'm really a nice and simple type of person.
I disagree. Have you seen your engine bay?
And that's what I was going to say. It's kind of contradicting, right? Because you look at my hatchback is not nice and simple. I popped the hood, definitely not nice and simple, you
Yeah.
know. But working with Alex from Enjoy Life Drive Slow, dude, so cool, so freaking cool. Like I said, I started being around the car stuff in 2008,
Mhm.
you know, and then once Instagram started being a thing, you know, you can start seeing things, and it was around the time I got my hatchback, you know, that I started knowing about like Enjoy Life Drive Slow, like through my friend Isaac and stuff like that. And we'd go to like the, you know, the meets that he'd throw at the parks and stuff.
Mm.
And it was cool because like my car didn't look what it looked like now, you know, but Alex would still take pictures of it. Alex would still take pictures of it, one or two pictures here. I would just come around and we'd always say what's up, and that's it, right? And so over the years, we just started building like this friendship, and we started getting closer and closer. Obviously, like my car started looking nicer and nicer, and you know, he just started coming around more, taking even more pictures of it. You know, he goes, "Oh man, like that's sick, dude! Like you're building your car, like that's cool. You know, you got a whole story behind it." Um, and so yeah, so like the years go by, and like I buy a gimbal, I buy a nice camera, whatever, and I just want to mess around with videos. And I see Alex started doing features, you know, on his website and stuff. So I told him like, dude, like it'd be cool if you did like a video too. He goes, yeah, let's do it. And it just, boom, here we are, man. You know, and it's pretty cool, you know, almost as like being friends with a celebrity. You know, a lot of people know about Enjoy Life Drive Slow, 60,000 something followers on Instagram,
Mhm.
you know, and like I said, coming up like in the scene, you know, hearing about Enjoy Life Drive Slow, I always thought like, oh man, that's sick. Almost like at Super Street level, you
Mhm.
know, but just locally, you know?
Mhm.
And yeah, so I mean, shoot, now I'm collaborating with him, and you know, we're doing our features and stuff, and that's just how it came about.
No, and I think that every single time there's going to be a new feature, at least on a personal level, I'm looking forward to the obviously the images that he's going to capture, but I'm also looking forward to the video. I really like the way you incorporate the owners. You know, you zoom in while they park their car, they get out of their car and they walk away, or they're standing in front of their car. Um, I really like that. I know it takes a lot of work, especially with the products that you use. It's not as simple as a GoPro. You know, the gimbal's
Right.
heavy, dude. You give it to me for 20 seconds. I was like, how do you do this? You're like, I don't know, man. You gotta, a man has to hold it. It's like, give it back to you. It's heavy. And then like, I really, like I said, Jessica, if I'm not mistaken, that was the last feature you guys did, right?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was
Uh-huh.
obviously shot at different locations. And so I'm like, damn, for a lot of people, they don't understand it's a 5-minute video, 3-minute video. but this was hours of
Yeah,
shooting different
hours.
places, going from one distance to another, pictures, sound clips, and then after that, like you mentioned, the editing. You spend X amount of time, and then you're like, okay, that didn't work. Okay, that did. So it's like constant work, and so for a lot of us, I think that's, we look at it as, oh, a 3-minute video, but it's more than that. And so I really like that. I really like that aspect of the whole video, and so you do that, then I see you riding your bike all the time. And
Yeah, man.
why? Tell me why I cannot. Every time you upload a freaking video to your story about you riding the bike on that POV view, tell me why I cannot like just say skip. I have to look through the whole video, like, because it's almost like it's fascinating that you going, and then obviously when you're like, dude, new PB or whatever, or riding the snake, or whatever. It's like it's fascinating. How did you end up picking up that hobby?
So I was really into BMXing in high school, right? And I dude, like for like 4, 5, 6 years, I was riding my bike, dude. I just love it. It's fun, dude. Riding bikes is so much fun, right? But it's dangerous. You're doing fucking stuff off of objects, and you're trying to, you got pegs, so you're trying to grind the sledge and stuff like that. And you can get hurt. You can get hurt, right? And so as I got older, I started working and working and started realizing, damn, if I get hurt, I can't do this no more. Or I got to take some time off work, yada, yada,
Mm-hmm.
yada, right? So I've always liked bikes, man. Mountain biking, though, that that came, my friend Luis he had a mountain bike, and he was like, oh, like you should get one, and like, I want to go riding and stuff like that. And I was like, all right, cool. My dad had an old mountain bike. It was a full suspension mountain bike, but it was
Mm-hmm.
old. Um, and so, yeah, I go riding with him one day, and I loved it, man. I loved it. Like, totally different than what I'm used to, like BMXing. I mean, this was, a little bit over a year ago. A little bit over a year ago. And I just absolutely loved it, man. But, given that it was an old bike, felt like I was limited.
Yeah.
And so I think that was like in March or May or June, something like that, right? And so earlier in 2020, I had my puppy Nala, and she unfortunately passed away in September. And at that point, like I didn't know what to do, man. Like I was lost, like I was hurt, insane. Like to this day, like it sucks. Um, and I really like the only like it just I don't know what compelled me to go to the bike shop, and it was just like out of I don't know. I just don't know what it was, but I went to the bike
Mm-hmm.
shop and I bought a new bike, man, and it was $4,000. $4,000 I
Does it
spent.
ride? Does it ride by itself, or what?
No, unfortunately, I still have to pedal.
Oh, you
And
didn't buy the right one then.
yeah, and so I spent $4,000 on the bike, man,
Yeah, they're but
and all in a sense of trying to get away from like just being hurt. I just
yeah.
lost my pup, and it was more than just like a dog to me. Like dude, I loved her. And I deal with a lot of anxiety and panic attacks and stuff like that. I may not look like the person or whatever that goes through those kind of things, but I do. And that dog helped me get through a lot with my mental health. And so I think just out of just sheer like hurt, I thought that a bike was just gonna make me feel better, you know. And even when I bought it, like it's like I didn't feel excited or anything like that. Um, and so I bought my bike on. So Nala passed away on a Tuesday. I bought the bike on a Thursday. On Saturday, uh, my friend Luis, my friend Angel, they took me up to a bike park up in Lake Arrowhead called Sky Park. And in an effort to put me in a better, you know, state of
Mood.
mind,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it helped, man. And from that day on, like riding, my mountain bike, it just helps me. It just helps me. It's good exercise, and if I ate a little bit better, I'd probably be dropping some weight, but it helps me, man. It helps me be, escape from my day-to-day things, you know. And so just like my other hobbies do too, but for some reason, like I really enjoy just riding my bike.
Is that the
So much
strongest? Is that the strongest hobby that you have at the moment? You would say?
at the moment, yeah.
Because Saturday mornings is for sure. You mentioned that's bike time, and then I see you doing it during the week as well.
Yeah.
Are
Um,
you? Do you have any other like goals specifically when it comes to biking? Do you want to go to a certain trail out of state, or have you looked into that, or you're just enjoying it for what it
yeah.
is?
I mean, there really is like I really don't have any goals. Like, oh man, I gotta hit this. Like, not really. I just want to ride my bike. And it really helps that I have a solid group of friends that go riding too, man. It just started with us three, Angel, Luis, and myself. And then we just started like inviting more friends. And yeah, they started off with like not so great bikes. And dude, one of my friends, Miguel, dude, he just spent $8,700 on a bike.
You thought your bike was
Um,
expensive. that,
exactly. And that's the
that
thing.
one's the one that rides itself, right?
No, no.
You
It's
bought
not
the
even an
wrong one
e-bike.
too.
It's not even an e-bike. But it's got a carbon frame,
Oh
you
my
know? And that's the
god.
thing, right? You think, damn, $4,000 on a bike, that's a lot. That's like an intermediate, bike. There's like $10,000 bikes. There's e-bikes, they have motors on them. They assist you, when you're pedaling up, because riding mountain biking is not just downhill. There is downhill bikes where you just shuttle up and just, send downhill. But,
Mhm.
you know, we still got to pedal like up, and that's part of the fun too. It sucks, dude. It sucks. But dude, once you get to the top of wherever you're going, you're riding a bike up a hill, through man, like switchbacks on the side of a mountain and stuff like that. Dude, once you get to the top to wherever you're going, you're like, holy crap, I did that. Like, dude, and like you look down and dude, you're high up. I'm afraid of heights, dude. So I don't know how the heck I do some of the stuff that I do, but I do it, and it just helps that, to have a solid group of friends that can enjoy that too. And I enjoy mountain biking so much that it's actually even pulled me away from my car, you know. And I'm glad because for the past 5 years, that's all I've ever cared about is my car,
Mhm.
and my car and taking pictures of my car and driving my car and working on my car and stuff like that. And I'm glad that I've taken up, mountain biking, and I have like a solid group of friends to do that with,
Mhm.
because there's definitely more to life than just cars,
Most definitely.
you know? And so, yeah, man, like mountain biking is just a shit to me. I may not be like extremely good at it, but man, like
Oh, you look
just
like you're going fast, dude.
just like a car, just like a car, you can see progress. And I look at back at some of my GoPro footage and I'm like, dude, I was going so slow. I was going so slow right there. And now, dude, like I think the fastest I've ever gone is almost close to 40 miles an hour,
Wow,
downhill,
that's
you know?
fast, dude.
Yeah, and it's scary to think about, but in the moment, dude, everything's just like tunnel vision. Ooh, trees, dirt, rocks, like whatever, you're just flying. And there's also portions where you're going super slow because you're going down a super technical trail
Mhm.
where you gotta like ride the brakes, you gotta modulate the brakes, you gotta lean back, you dude, like my freaking I got the rear wheel in between my legs pretty much because that's how far of a decline, I'm going, and it's dude, it's super fun, man. Like it's super freaking fun. Like
It sounds like so
insane.
scary and fun at the same
It
time.
is. No, dude, it's extremely scary. I rode Mount Wilson with a group of friends, and that is hands down one of the scariest things I've ever done. Bro. I'm on the edge of a mountain, like like there's like maybe 5, 6 feet wide,
No way.
and then it's just the bottom of a mountain,
No
like
way.
or not the bottom, but like a
cliff.
the side of a mountain, and I'm scared of heights, you know. And it's not a smooth trail, dude. It's chunky. Like I'm talking like boulders, rocks, dirt, little drops, and stuff like that. That if you hit it wrong, you can
Yeah.
go over the bars, you can slip out, you can, you know.
Yeah.
But it's exhilarating, man. It's freaking exhilarating.
And you've done that once?
Mount Wilson, I've done once. Yeah. But some of the trails that we go to are just like that. You know, it's what you call exposure. You
Exposure.
know, they have a lot of exposure, you know, and it's kind of scary, you know?
That
It
sounds
doesn't matter where it's at.
it sounds extremely scary, dude. I'm glad. Well, I'm glad that you. I like what you said on that. There's more to life than cars. I think that can be applicable for everything, right? I mean,
Yeah,
you and I
definitely.
met via cars, and so whether it's right or wrong, whatever's appropriate for the individual, but we definitely do see some individuals that every penny goes towards cars, and I
Which
just
is fine. Which is 100% fine too, you know, because if that's what you like, that's what you like.
yeah, it is. At the same time, though, I think once you start experiencing different things, you understand like, oh, there's more to it, and I think some people it takes them a while to get there, and to each his own, right? But I've had conversations with different people that their thing is traveling. They like cars, but they also like to travel, and they're like, dude, what good is it if I spend every single dime on my car, but I never travel? Once I'm 40, 50, time doesn't come back. And so what did I do other than just building a car? And it's not to say that that is your thing specifically with the circle of people that we hang out with and people that I meet, that you're wrong or you're a bad person, because that's all the only thing you're doing. But, just like you, um, whether it was that a necessity or desperation or whatever you want to call it, picking up a hobby of biking has now led you to new friendships, a new routine on Saturday mornings, a new way of looking at different things and experiences. And so I think that's part of it. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're a bad person, but I think that if you don't put yourself into something else, it might be that cars is now the new for somebody else, that we're really into cooking, and then out of desperation,
Right.
whatever, they want to build cars, and now they meet you, they meet me. um I think that's the cool part about it, and not necessarily that they're wrong, but I definitely do understand that there is a lot of value in trying out a whole bunch of different things. Even if you're not as good, like you mentioned, I might not be the best writer, but you're having fun. And I can see
Yeah.
that, and I can hear it when you're like, oh, you got some air, or you got, like, oh shit, like here comes, like, and I hear the excitement on that, and I like that, and to me on a personal level, like I see your Instagram page, what is he gonna pull up next? Because you're good at eating like myself. And so,
Yeah.
so like what you ate today, I was like, damn, that looks so good. But I need to cut back on eating. Um, when we hung out in Vegas, like your energy level is through the roof. And so now with that, like it's like you're a very fun person to be around with. And
Thanks, man.
so no, it's true. And I I was falling asleep before you were. And so um that goes to show you, like, if you're gonna hang out with somebody, you're gonna have a good conversation, um and you're gonna be motivating, and it's a positive round of circles, kind of like you mentioned. I don't know how I got so lucky with my friends. I think that that's what you've been projecting. That's what you attract. That's who you are, and so people are able to see that, and so that's the reason why they return it. And so it's no big shocker. You just are that type of person.
Yeah, man. It's definitely a blessing, you know, like to have even you like reciprocate that to me, you know, like, oh, dude, it's because like you're this way and this, you know, yeah, it's a good feeling, dude. You know, do I do it for any reason? No, that's just who I am. That's just how I am. And I'll always be like that, dude. I'll always help out people no matter how inconvenient it is for me if I can. You know, if I can help you out some way or another, I will, you know. And if I can't, then I'm sorry. But for the most part, I go out of my way for so many people and I expect nothing in return. I expect nothing in return. Why? Because I've been in that position, man. I've been in that position of needing a car to get somewhere. needing $40 to buy this. Here, man, go ahead. Don't matter to me. Go ahead, man. That when I had a stack of parts, I was giving stuff away. Somebody told me, you can sell that cluster for way more. I don't care. Take this. In today's market, man, EG cluster that has the RPM, I don't know how much it goes for. I sold it for $30.
Wow.
Take it. I don't care. Somebody like, you can sell it for like 150. I don't care. Like, it's sitting here. It does me no good. I just made somebody's day that was looking for that cluster for $30. Why? Because I've gotten parts like that before, man. The headlights on my EG, they're the European glass headlights. Those things, the last time that I saw, and this was a few years ago, they were selling for like 350, $400.
Whoa, I thought like $200. Wow, that's expensive.
Do you know how much I bought them for?
50?
I bought them for $20.
From where?
Facebook. Some guy posted them up. I said, hey, do you still got them? Yeah, how much do you want? 20? Cool, I'll go right now. I drove from Riverside to Beaumont during my lunch and back for those headlights.
What's up with you and your lunch, man? Your boss gonna listen to this and be like, where does this guy go during his lunch?
No, dude, I'm another thing too, man. I'm super thankful for my job. I'm super thankful for my job. Like, my boss isn't always breathing down my shoulder. He's very understanding, especially, like I said, I deal with a lot of anxiety and panic attacks and stuff like that and mental health issues. And dude, there was a point in time for like 2 or 3 months straight, I would come into work for an hour, have a panic attack, and I'd have to leave for the rest of the day. How many places would have fired that employee?
Yeah.
And here I am.
Mm-hmm.
Here I am still with the company, man. With the company that I work for. I'm going on 6 years with them.
That's great, man. And thank you for being so vulnerable regarding some of those challenges. I think most of us have something similar, or we don't obviously share it or we don't say it because of that stigma. Mental health, I definitely try to hit that topic and some of the Washington talks because it's extremely important. Like, we are all dealing with it. It's not a make-believe thing. It's not fake.
No, it's
This is
not.
not
And I've never
a high school
understood it.
phase only, type of thing.
No, I've never understood it because in high school, I wasn't a popular kid, but I also wasn't like one of like the least known kids. And so, not that I was a jock or anything, but I kind of walked around with, a little chip on my shoulder, because a lot of people knew me and stuff like that. But I would see people who would be anxious, and I never understood it because I would never deal with it, man. And it sucked that, it hit me later as an adult. And to this day, I have absolutely no reason why it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just a chemical imbalance, in me or something like that? I don't know. But I never thought it was a thing, man. I would always say, just get through it, just whatever, like, just relax. But it's not that simple,
Mm-hmm.
And for anybody going through anything like that, my DMs are open, man, because when I started being vocal about it, I realized that there's so many people out there that are willing to help. Whether it's somebody that you need to talk to, somebody that you just need to tell them how you feel, somebody you need to cry to. Man, I've cried to so many people, and to be not judged for it is such a good feeling. And like I said, to anybody that feels like that, my DMs are always open, and I will never, ever judge anybody for telling me something about how the way that they feel or anything like that, because like you said, everybody goes through it, man. I went through some really dark times in my life, and a lot of it had to do with my own choices. Like I told you, I didn't have my license. I was bouncing from place to place.
Mm-hmm.
I was bouncing from job to job. To this day, I don't make a lot of money, but I definitely do make more money than I was back then.
Mm-hmm.
But I still struggle. But I'm definitely in a better place than I was back then. But back then it was a lot different. man, dude, I'm telling you, I went through some really, really dark times in my life, and so I know what it's like to be feeling extremely low, man. I know what it's like. I know what it's like, and I'll never judge anybody for feeling like that. It's a normal feeling. How you go about it is going to determine the outcome, though.
Yeah.
you know? And I cannot stress it enough. Like, my DMs will always be open for stuff like that. You don't have to know me. I don't have to know you. Just like the way that the people that I didn't know were like, "Hey, man, like, what's going on? Like, you need someone to talk to? Just hit me up," and I would, and they would help me out one way or another. And it's a real issue.
I love how you're now being a big brother, in a different sense,
The
kind
big
of like
homie.
a big homie, a big homie. You're right, a big homie.
Yeah.
It's but that's how most of us are, right? Like we can't
Yeah.
we until it happens to us, then we actually now take it, seriously, or we take note of it, or whatever the case may be. And so, um, I definitely understand where you're coming from, man. I can't say that I know what you're going through, but um, or that I've experienced it myself. But when something doesn't affect you, it's so easy to dismiss it, or to say, well, whatever, get over it. Um, Especially when maybe they're not making the best decisions, and so that's what's keeping them in a certain state of mind, or um, situation. I think one thing that you definitely have done is reach out to, like you mentioned, speaking up, speaking with others, finding a circle that you can trust. Not only that, they now kind of, you had Nala, and you, what's your dog's name right now?
Tofu.
Okay. You've seen the beautiful thing in having that companionship. Dogs to me are the most amazing creatures that we have. Yes, I'm more of a dog person than a cat person.
Yeah,
They,
100%.
they give you hashtag dogs over cats. No, but we appreciate for what they are. I mean, they give you such unconditional love, and so all of that, you've done the right things, get yourself out of a rut by, trying different hobbies, being out there, doing different stuff, obviously hanging out with the girl, and just kind of trying to find that circle and that positivity, because you could be a different person. You could say, I'm not going to go out biking, I'm not going to go out doing cars, I'm not going to go do this. And so that's quickly when you can get yourself in a bigger bubble. But I definitely, like I told you, man, I've always gotten that sensation from you that you're a go-getter. You're extremely humble, and that's the reason why the people that hang out with you are humble, and they're always willing to help out, because it's what you are fostering, it's what you are, projecting. And so,
Right.
you know, it's always a good time, man. It's always a good time to catch up with you. And it's always something different. It's not always just about cars. I think cars is always what gets us into the conversation, but we've gone into some other conversations,
Yeah, man.
from a car. It's always like, how's the hatch doing, and then all of a sudden it's like, what else have you been up to? And um, from my end, I really like, seeing what is Easy gonna come up with, his story. What is he gonna share of his day? And it's always, it's fun to see. It's fun to call you by mistake in the morning. You're like, you're riding, you're gonna be driving to work, talking to me. So we did,
Yeah,
and so
we did
um
it. Yeah, exactly.
and I
Yeah.
wish we would do more of that, because it's good to catch up. It's good to have a chat, um more than just car meets and things of that nature. And I
And so, like you just said, I wish we could do more of that. Yeah, I wish too, man. I wish a lot of things, man. And I wish I had more time to hang out with my friends. I wish I could hang out with all my friends together at the same time. But I like to believe that I'm a low maintenance friend, man. I don't need you to hit me up every day for me to keep that friendship with you. I don't need Isaac to hit me up every day, for him to know that he's still, one of my best friends or anything like that, man. I'm a very understanding person. I'm not ignorant. I can see both, both, ways. I can see why you can think one way, and I can see why I think one way, you know, and I just like to believe that we're all adults. We all have our own lives going, but if you ever needed something, at the drop of a dime, I'm there, you know. And I like to think the same way about my friends, like they don't need me to message them every day to remind them, hey, I'm your friend, hey, I'm your friend, hey, I'm your friend, Um, and so like now, you just hit me up out of the blue, hey, I want to do this little podcast. Okay, let's do it. I'll make time. I'll make time. I had a pretty busy schedule today. And thankfully, being as busy as I am, like it's good. It keeps my mind busy and things like that. And so, yeah, I figured, man, it'd be a good time to talk to Gus. Like we don't speak on a daily basis, but does that make me consider you any less of a friend? Not at all. You know,
Yeah.
do I wish we could do this more? Yeah, man. But you're busy. I'm busy, you know?
Yeah, most definitely, man. So I definitely understand. Yeah, a long day, man. You drove a lot. So the
Yeah.
fact that you still made time for me today and out of very, very extremely short notice, it doesn't go unnoticed, But thank you for your time, man. I really, like I said, I think you're gonna be able to help a lot of people in so many different levels, different age groups, different pathways of life. Like it's extremely,
It's
it's cool to just learn about you more of a person than just to see a hatch, and be like, oh, that guy builds
yeah,
that car.
yeah, for sure. It's easier, I guess, for me to relate to a lot of people, given everything that I've, gone through. Uh, Other people get it worse, yeah. I'm not saying I have it the worst, but there's people who have it easier and stuff like that, which is totally fine. I'm not one of the people who gets upset because their parents bought them a brand new car. Hey man, your parents got it like that? That's sick. Congrats, bro. It's up to you on how you go about it though. If you go out flaunting on so and so, hey man, like that's not cool, you know. But I mean, ultimately, whatever, But I like to think I can relate with a lot of people, and I could definitely like sympathize for a lot of people too, And but dude, my DMs are always open for anybody who needs anything, and if I can help out in any way, I will, And I 100% expect nothing in return, you know.
Wow.
And that's I've always said if I can help somebody out, I will, man. I will. Like I can't express it enough, dude. Like the amount of help that I've gotten from friends before, insane, man. Insane. Like I really don't understand how, And I know what it's like to be in a certain position where you feel like you can't get to the next step, or you don't know what to do, or you just feel vulnerable or whatever. I know what it feels like. I know what it's like to feel at the top of the world, and I know what it feels like to be like down at the bottom. You know, it's just how it is.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you're extremely humble, and I think your experiences have been a huge part of that, and I like that. I like the fact that you're willing to be helpful to people, and so I mean, I hope more health, many more years for you. I hope more money
Yeah,
so that
man,
we can
dude.
building more cool things, buy an Accord, and get rid of the hatch. No, you
Yeah,
know,
no, I
you're
just
getting rid of
lately.
the hatch. Breaking news. What?
No, seriously though, no, just lately, man, I've really been thinking of selling it.
I seen that, man.
But
Stop playing.
I don't
No.
know. I don't know, man. Like I'm getting older. I mean, I'm
Oh,
26.
don't even
I'm
start.
not like, hold on,
Holy
hold on,
crap. Did you if
hold
there's
on.
anybody who's listening this far, they're gonna be like, wait a minute. What do you mean by you're getting older? And Civic EG. What does that mean?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I just turned 26 on June 30th,
Oh,
right? So
you're
it's a
so
couple
old.
2 weeks
Looking
ago.
young.
I feel old, man. I feel old. Just like I just
I
want
was
to be.
about to close out the podcast. Now you start out. What do you mean? Okay, so if you get rid of it, you would pick up
Okay,
something else,
I would, and I
and it
would
wouldn't
go.
be 90s.
No,
It'd be
it would. It's gonna sound stupid. It's going to sound stupid. Okay, if I were to sell my hatchback, I would get another hatchback, but I would be extremely specific on what I want. The way my hatchback came to be, I was kind of just taking whatever friends would give me, or taking whatever I could get. You know, and how it started with the H2B. I didn't want to go to H2B. I just wanted to throw a single cam back in there and
Mhm.
go about driving my car. You know, um, but I think if I were to do it all over again, man, I absolute favorite color on EG, man, Captiva blue. Absolutely gorgeous color, man. Captiva blue or Granada black. But it'd have to be an SI model, man. Gotta have the sunroof. There's no better sunroof out there than like the EG Integra sunroofs. The way that they tilt and they go all the way back. No better sunroof out there, man. Or moonroof, whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
No better sunroof.
Okay.
So it would have to be an SI, right? And I wouldn't go H2B. I'd go B series, but it'd have to have AC or a K series with AC. Clean paint, nice suspension, nice wheels, JDM interior. Nice and simple, man. Nice and simple.
That doesn't sound nice nor simple. Okay, so okay, I thought you were gonna say something along the lines of,
Wait,
no,
that's one way. The other way I would go, I just go full VIP car, man. Big body Lexus, air ride, 3-piece wheels,
hmm,
or S chassis.
hmm. You like the S13s a lot, huh?
S13s, man. S13s are the way to go. And the way that started is with my friend Max. My friend Max, dude's he's like a local legend in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's built quite a few S chassis, but there was one coupe that he had, man, like magazine quality, you know, and
Was it?
all his S chassis black,
Mm-hmm.
paints them black. Man, I let me pull let me see if I could find it on my phone.
Hard to maintain color, but it looks amazing, and every wheel color goes with black, so it's a great choice.
Man, let me see if hopefully you can see it through this little screen right here. He right now he has an IS 300, and it's a pretty badass build, man. But here we go. S13 coupe with some wet wheels, and they were like ultra black chrome. Let's see if you can see that.
Oh, and the nice camera up front. Oh,
Just dude, like absolutely like straight Japan vibes, you know?
yeah.
Straight up Japan
Nice
vibes.
Sylvia front end too. Looks beautiful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
It's a
so,
perfect.
man, because of Max, I've been infatuated with like the S chassis, S13, S14, S15, blah. But S13, S14, S13 hatch, S13 coupe, either one, man, I'd be happy with
S15
it.
también is good. I like S15.
S15 is cool, you know. I just, for me, the body lines and how aggressive you can make the S13s and the S14s look, it's just, man, it's so sick, dude.
No, yeah.
So,
Love S13s. Yeah, okay.
you know,
Okay.
so that,
I was scared. I thought you were gonna come up with like, I'm getting older and me driving a Honda at 27 is kind of like, I'll get out of here. I'm
nah,
30 and I love my freaking Honda Accord. I still do get some looks from people like freaking teenager or like this guy is driving his son's car or something, but um nah, man. I love all raggedy cars, man. I can't wait to I just interviewed a gentleman with his Accord. He's 55, dude. And
oh
I'm like,
wow,
you're freaking goals, dude. Like, and he has the Accord. And he bought it right off the flow room show. Like that's he bought it brand new and he's had it this whole entire time. And I'm like, I want to be 55 and still driving my old ass Honda. Like it may not be as low. It's definitely going to be raced up because my back started hurt, but I thought that's where you were going with. He saved me there for a little bit. Okay, if you go buy an
No,
S13, I wouldn't want you to get rid of your hatch. I really wouldn't. I would tell you like, hey, put it to the
there's
side. Just let it collect dust. Let it collect dust, because I really feel like you would regret it, right? Go buy an S13. Like, you're in a whole different financial position now. Go buy an S13 and do what you want to do with it. But I would not get rid of your hatch. I would not let anybody say, hey, bro, I'll trade you cash on top. Hey, no, man. I think that it's going to
so
be a serious mistake. And I know you can do whatever you want, but I'm telling you, it's going to be a serious mistake.
I don't know, man. If I were to sell that car, I'd probably ask for like $23,000.
Good. Ask for 30. That way nobody gives it to you. You keep it.
No, not 30. That's too much. It's not that clean. But I would ask for like 23,000, and I'd probably take like 18K for it. Ridiculous, huh?
Well,
Ridiculous.
when you look up at the parts, like everything starts adding up really quickly. So it
Yeah,
sounds
for sure.
ridiculous, but when you take into consideration the parts, the labor that it would take you to take a car from stock to that 18,
Yeah.
it sounds like a lot, but it's a lot of money
And
that you invested.
you know what? Like let's get into this real quick. I know, man, this is a lot longer than you anticipated,
Oh
and I
no,
could
this
go
is
on
great.
and on
I
and
feel bad
on.
for you. I don't know if you have something to
No,
do.
man.
I said
No,
3 hours for this,
dude.
so I thought I was like, oh, we're
No,
ready to close it out, and then all of a sudden you drop an F bomb about like I'm gonna get rid of
no,
what?
man. So like I told you, I had a last minute service call today. So my facility is here in Riverside. I had to drive out to San Diego. And so that's like a 2 hour drive plus however long it takes me to, work on the unit there. For those of you wondering, I work on X-ray equipment. Um, and so the company I work for, we service and we repair, X-ray machines. Maybe it's a little bit more complicated, but we'll just leave it at that. So, yeah, so whatever time it took me to repair the unit, plus the drive back. So yeah, I get here and I told my boss, I was like, hey, you know what? Like, I'm gonna stay after work because I got to do this thing with my friend Gus. He goes, oh yeah, that's cool. Like, don't worry about it. And I was like, all right, well, like, what better place to do it than in my office? Nobody's here, and I'm just chilling. So dude, we can go on and on and on
I
and
feel
on.
bad
And
for you. You gotta get home, man. You gotta eat, and you gotta get
that,
some.
that's cool, man. It's cool. And so, anyways, what was I saying? Um, let's talk about the way that the Honda market is right now, man. It's it's insane. It is absolutely crazy, man.
So you want to
Like,
start drama? Is that what you're saying?
no, there's no drama, man. There's no drama. But for people who are thinking this guy wants $23,000 for his freaking car, are you insane? Yeah, it sounds like it, right? But check it out. It might not be worth 23,000, 15,000, $10,000 to you, but there's somebody out there who have to sacrifice everything that they had in order to put themselves ahead in life, and they are now making good money, that they want to have another car like that. And if $18,000 is what I want for my car, and it beats him having to spend the time to do everything for him to relive the era that he had to give up his stuff for, it's worth every penny for him. You know? Does that mean that every car is worth that much? No. I'm sorry, but no. Is the market in a weird bubble right now? Absolutely, man. Absolutely. There was a pair, and this is what trips me out the most, right? Because I've been around these cars since 2008. 2008, man. I may have not had a car at the time. I may have not had money to do anything, but I was around then. I was seeing my brother look through Craigslist, NWP for Life forums. At that time, I even made an account for NWP for Life. I think I named it like JDM B16 EJ1 or something like that because my brother had an EJ1 with a B16 in it. And so going through all that stuff, recently there was a pair of Recaros like I have in my hatchback, the SR3s that come out of the Integra and Civic Type Rs. sold for $1,800 for a pair. They were in nice condition. There was some wear to them that, to me, did not make them worth that much, right? But that's my opinion, right? Back then, you could get a pair of Recaros for $600. And if you paid $800 to $1,000 for a pair of Recaros, you got screwed over. Why'd you pay that much? You can get them for this much. That was 13 years ago, man.
Whose fault is it?
I don't know.
Oh, I think it comes back to you and I. I mean, you said it right. Like 18,000 might sound crazy for someone, but if someone has quote unquote a deep pockets, they're gonna go and say here, and then that's it. Like that becomes,
Right.
that the wheels, the. I mean, I don't understand how some people afford T's right now because I'm looking at the prices. I'm like, that's so expensive for a played out wheel. I'm gonna go do something else. Um, and I have a played out wheel as well, Riga Masters. But the idea is that like it's only worth as much as you think is worth in whatever you're willing to pay. I mean, and really,
Exactly.
realistically,
Right.
these are 90s buckets. That's why I always get tripped out on people like being so picky about someone's bill, like, oh my god, look, he's paying. Oh, he needs to pay. Like, dude, we drive Hondas. Like, chillax. Like, I get it. We have, craftsmanship, and some people have so much, more detail oriented and more money, and they're willing to put more money to their builds. I get that, and I respect that. I really do. However, if you buy seats at $1,000, more than likely you're not going to sell them for 800. You're going to sell them for 1100, 1200. And then if somebody else comes and buys it at that point, then that's a new benchmark. Bring a trailer, holy macaroni, just skyrocket
Right.
every single car, because I don't want to call it gambling, but it's more like everybody's pitching in. Okay, cool. This Integra type part, 60, 70, 80, 90,000, 100, 110,000. So now the people with Integra LS is all clapped out, think that they can get $5,000 for their car. And guess what? There's going to be one guy out there who's going to go and buy it. And it's like, why? But now that becomes a new benchmark because that guy bought it.
Exactly.
And so it's our fault. But at the same time, now let me throw you another scenario. Do you think it's a good thing? Because now people that are buying those parts should appreciate them a little bit more.
Well, it's not really for me to say. I can give my opinion on it, but it's not really for me to say.
I want to hear your opinion.
I don't think it's a good thing because these cars should not be this expensive. I should not be able to park my car out and make fucking 30 grand.
Yeah.
Is it cool? Yeah. But just like trying to buy a house today.
So you don't.
You
and I are in the same boat, so we don't.
you right. So like there's people who are like, oh man, I can sell my house that I got for $350,000 for like $600,000, just figuratively speaking, right?
It's actually close to it. Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, that's cool as fuck, right? Damn, I can have all this money, but guess what? When you got to go buy that new house, because you got to have somewhere to live, you got to pay that tax too. And it's the same thing with the car parts. Is it cool that you can sell your fucking seats for $1,800? Yeah. But then you got to go, well, I guess you don't need to, but if you wanted to go get some, like you've now set that market price. Is there people out there who will let them go cheaper to you because they're your homie or whatever? Yeah, of course. But everyone else that's just regular Joe Schmoes, I can't sell my seats for that much.
That definitely becomes an issue. That definitely does become an issue. But
and that's no disrespect to anybody. People who sell parts and stuff like that, do your thing, bro. That's your hustle. It literally takes no money away from me.
Right.
But like it's insane to literally see it like unfold in front of us. Like the market's changing. These Hondas, they're no longer cheap to build how everybody claims them to be. They've never been cheap to build. you can get cheap parts, but they've never been cheap to build. You know, um, dude, these freaking Honda parts, man, insane, insane, man.
Well,
And the
I mean,
market is endless.
no, yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. I think part of the reason though too, I think if I was to be the devil's advocate here would be that um if you make it to that affordable price point, you are now opening up the window for people that are willing to buy at that price and not take care of it the way they should be, and then there's less of them, and so that now that's the reason why you know the demand is so high, but the product's not there. Hence, the houses it's going up in value, and so or we have put more value into the same item,
Yeah.
whether it is or not. And
Mhm.
the way you stop that is by not buying the seats at 1800, and then the seller has to lower their price and lower the price. But the thing is, most of us are either impatient or some of us have the money and they're like, I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah, I mean, somebody like like me, that's been around these cars since like 2008, and I can't stress enough that like at that time, I didn't have anything, you know, to do with anything about cars,
Hmm.
but I was seeing it, you know. Man, one of my friends at the time that he had an EM1, he bought an EM1 lip for $20 because somebody was just parting out their EM1. Yeah, here's a $20 lip for the EM1. You know how much those EM1 lips go for now?
A lot.
Like 400 or 500 bucks.
That's insane. I can't even wrap my head around
Like,
spending
dude,
400,
what?
500. And no
Like, what?
disrespect to somebody who bought it, but I'm just saying that like I can't, the nicest gesture I've seen. Well, I should take that back. I've gotten some free parts from a lot of my buddies, especially in that core world. So those are the nicest gestures. It's just here, take it. They're taking up space here. Um, One of them that I remember though, I bought the JTTC front lip rep from some dude in Virginia. I find it on
Dude, I
Facebook.
think it's so sick.
Yeah, I love it. At first I didn't like them, but now I love it. Right. So I found it. Right. I'm like, damn. I'm like, this lips don't come around. I really want it. I think the guy wanted. Dude, I can't remember. I'm gonna completely butcher the number. I think the guy wanted $280. That was with shipping. I'm like, 280, dude, I'm gonna go buy it because I know it's a rep, but I've heard that some authentic ones were going for $1,000. I'm like, no way. Even if I came across an authentic one, I wouldn't buy it. I just don't. And again, that I think that's what differentiates me from somebody else. Somebody would be like, I wouldn't buy the $280 one. I'll go buy the $1,000 one because it's authentic. And respect to you, I just wouldn't. And it was cool because I reached out to the guy. He was like, "Yeah, man, I'll wrap it for you. Oblige, shoot him the money through PayPal." And then he's like, "Hey, man, here's your tracking number. I sent it out. It should be so and so this day, and I send you back $20." And I said, "Why did you send me back $20?" Like, "Oh, I miscalculated the shipping. It's actually 260, not 280." I was like, "Nobody does that, dude." He was like, "Yeah, just move
Yeah.
forward somewhere else." I mean, that was shit. Good luck that happening now. One,
Mhm.
the lip being that cheap, somebody was selling theirs for 400. And two, just how nice that guy was. And so I've definitely seen obviously changes in the way people are now. I'm not a good sales type of person. Like I'm not a good sales person. I don't like to sell my parts. I've given away a lot of free parts just because I don't know, I feel weird selling things, and especially if it's something that is just sitting, I'll be like, here, like long as you use it, like I want you to use it. I want you to, be like, oh, cool. And if you decide to sell it, well, that's whatever. But I want you to use it specifically at courts, because I
Yeah.
never own a Civic, so I don't have none of those
Dude,
parts.
yeah, core community is so sick.
Let's yes and no. The more you know people, the less you want to know them. And that
So
goes for everything. That goes for Civic. Just because we drive the same car doesn't mean that we're gonna see eye to eye on a personal level for many different reasons. But
I think
I know a lot of cool Accord people. Yes.
Probably the dude with one of my favorite Accords before he took it apart. It's Jake, man. Jake from Pacific Northwest.
Jake. He went so balls out on that one.
Man, dude,
He legit took everything apart.
That is one of the cars when I had my Accord that made me want to do big wheels like that. And like that fitment, sick, man.
Oh, he nailed it. He nailed that fitment with the RPF ones.
Sick.
Jake,
so when my Accord got totaled, I parted it out. You know, I made some money off of it. Jake asked me about the garnishes that say Accord, and I was like, "Just give me like $80." He's like, "Okay, cool. Let me get the money. Give me your address." And I sent it to him. Pay me whatever. It's cool, man. Don't worry about it.
You sent me the real bulbs out of that Accord.
Yeah, the Accord.
Yeah, for no reason.
Yeah.
You're like, here's give me your address, and you send them. Yeah, I gave you $0 for that.
And so, you know, dude, from my experience with the Accord community, you know, and even to this day, man, Jake sent me over some engine covers for my F20V because I needed the lower timing cover, and he sent me the lower and the upper, and he was like, well, just like, you know, cover shipping. And I sent him like $30. Like, no. I sent him some money. I don't know how much it was. I don't know if it was like 30 or 50. I don't know, but I sent him more than what he asked for.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, dude, you're willing to just give me this.
Yeah.
Like here's a small token of appreciation. Obviously, he doesn't live next door, down the street, or even 20 minutes away. Here, just, you know, here you go. Just a small token of appreciation, you know. But, like, every Accord guy that I've met has been cool, man.
Jake is one of those guys that, it's funny because if I hadn't had a conversation with Jake, Automotive Anatomy wouldn't have been started at that moment where it got started. I think it would have gotten started, but maybe it would have been procrastination later, or you know, I'll get to it. Because obviously the idea was in my head for 2 years prior to actually me interviewing people or interviewing myself that first time. And it was a group of 5 huge DMs that I got from Jake when I asked him a simple question. How did you decide to begin, you know, Humble Begins the movement and or this and that? And then he gave me like a little download on his story, on some of the challenges he had faced, some of the challenges he's continued to face and what he was doing, etc., etc. And it gave me so much motivation to say, I'm going to go. I remember, I'm like, I told him, dude, thank you so much for taking the time to write all that and to being so transparent. I'm now going to get up. I'm going to go record myself. And I did. I legit got up. I drove to the most nearest park and I recorded my very first video back in June something in 2018. And that's been a while now. And I really like his car as well. And so when I saw him, you know, partying it out, I was like, damn, this guy is going nuts. Like he took that car to a shell and he shared some of the things that he wants to do with it. I'm like,
yeah,
that car's going to be done properly. It's going to be done, you know, in an amount of a long time.
His work ethic though, man, and his train of thought. I hope I can have the privilege to meet that guy. You know, he's a family man, and he admits to doing things in his past that, you know, weren't the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, he's always trying to better himself. Always trying to better himself, you know.
One of the most supporting individuals too, always shouting out different channels or things that he listens to. I even asked him, like, have you met these people, you know, in person? They're like, yeah, you know, some of them, you know, but the thing is, like, he's always positive.
Yeah, man. And I don't know, I think if there was more people like Jake, like, the world would be a lot better, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely. But that's what it is. I mean, then there's people that are not like Jake that drive a quartz and that I come to meet and it's like cool. We like the same chassis, but our personalities are different, and that's okay. I mean, doesn't mean that I'm right. It just means that my values doesn't align with that individual or those
Yeah,
sets of individuals. Um, and one of them for me has always been about that, like you mentioned, like, to the close homies, they're always, selling parts at a very reasonable price, and to everybody else, the inflation. Or, for me, I think I I am one of those individuals that I like to talk smack, but it's honestly in a I like to think it's in a good kind of hearted way. I am not that person to talk down somebody because they have rep wheels. I've been there. Or fake parts. I've been there. Or because their car doesn't look as clean. I've been there. I am there.
still
I'm
are.
still there.
I'm just kidding.
I am. Dude,
Your car's nice,
now
man.
now I'm at the level of self-confident. I give two shits what you think. If tomorrow I find some JNC wheels that I really like, I'm gonna put them on. Oh my god, your M7s look so much better. Oh my, I don't care. I don't care. Now, maybe 5 years ago, maybe I really care. Maybe I wanted to fit in. Maybe I want, but that was something that always bothered me. People sometimes forget where they come from, and that's in general, not just not a core community. That's everything. You see a lot of people that drive, Porsches or Evos or those, more expensive cars, and they crap down on Hondas. Dude, you started with Hondas. Like, what are you talking about? Now that you're making a little bit more money, now all of a sudden, oh, Hondas are whack. And so that's kind of the reason why I say, like, that's just in every, I'm sure a lot of people in the civic community, integrity community, who are like, dude, that person, I can't stand them because of the way they carry themselves. But that's just the way it is. That's their personality. Not because you drive the same car, you're gonna enjoy their personality. You may love their cars. I know people that I love their cars, and I have great respect on what they built. I have zero respect for them as an individual because of what I've seen, not because of what I've heard from somebody else. No, no, no. I go based on my personality and me
Right.
and my personal interaction with that person. Because as much as we're talking about Jake this, Jake that, there might be somebody who's like, dude, I hate that guy. Well, why? Oh, because
Yeah.
we had a bad interaction. Well, I'm sorry, that's between you and them, right? Doesn't mean that
Right.
you don't talk to
Right.
Jake. But my personal interaction with Jake or with you, Izzy, is this, right? And so if somebody tells me, oh, dude, Izzy's such a this, dude, that's your personality, that's your interaction with that guy. This is what I've experienced with him, and that's what it is.
100%, man.
So, yeah, there's definitely some Accord dudes that have been extremely inspiring throughout the way, and I'm thankful for them, and I still keep good tabs with them. Um, but that's just for like everything else, man. But yeah, Honda prices, everything is going up in value, or we're putting more value into it. Um, we're it's going to be interesting to see in the next 10 years.
Yeah. And I guess back
I don't know,
then,
man. It's crazy.
Recaro's CTR front end, ITR front end, EF9 SIR front end,
Forget
CRX
about it
front
now.
end, you can get them all day long, wrecked cars or whatever. Now there's less and less and less and less
Mhm.
and less. I guess, times are way different now. Whether it's for the good or the bad, there's nothing that we can do about it. Because the people that have the money, the people that don't mind spending the money for those parts are going to spend the money on those parts.
Well, yeah, because
And
now we're getting into a whole different conversation. Now that you mentioned that, the people that have the money will sometimes not everything that shine is gold, right? And so while you're here sitting like, oh man, I don't have the money to buy those seats at 1,800, maybe those individuals didn't either, but now their credit card is maxed out at 1,800, and you're sitting there like,
yeah,
well, I wasn't willing to do that. Yeah,
that's true. And
to each
I
its
mean,
own.
everybody's financial position is different. Doesn't make them any less anything,
Uh-huh.
because just like out of desperation, spent $4,000 on my bike. You know, could have been the same desperation that they really wanted those seats because somehow, some way they felt, sentimental value in that.
Right.
Or who knows? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who knows? Um,
So see how
so,
you now we're justifying the value going up.
but
Like,
that's,
damn
but that's,
it. Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I'm telling you. I'm not ignorant, man. I'm not ignorant.
Yeah.
I see both sides. But
Inflation has not been going up that fast though, man. I get it that you gotta sell a little bit more and if they're getting rare, but man, I see some of these prices and some stuff, especially in that core, man. Like we don't have anything to begin with, and then whatever little we do have,
no,
it's like
dude,
people are hoarding them, and then if they do get rid of it, it's like, well, this is the asking price, and somebody will buy it, and I'm like, well, that goes that opportunity because I wasn't honestly I wasn't gonna spend that
spend
much
the money
money.
on it. Yeah, yeah,
I just
yeah, man.
don't see it, but
It's crazy. It's definitely a weird time to be where we're at, especially being around these cars for the amount of time that I've been. Now imagine the guys that have been in it since like the 90s. You
now
know?
that you mentioned that, I'm also part of the problem. And the reason why is because, I'm not interviewing just cars that are extremely budget. Like, no, some of these cars have heavy, heavy, heavy dollars. And that's, I am a a consequence or a reason why these things are going up in value because they see videos like the ones that we produce and they want their car to look like that. And therefore they need to go buy that specific part. And if that
Mhm.
specific part is at this X amount of dollar, they're gonna buy it because they know that that's gonna get them closer to their goal. And so I am part of that reason, part of that problem indirectly, I would say, as to why these prices keep going up.
I guess, I mean, if you want to see it that way, yeah, you know. But I mean, the same as like, I guess, a Super Street magazine, you know, when they list all their build specs, like, oh, I want that. Oh man, I want that. It's just the way that the market is and the way that it's gonna be. Just like why I don't get into politics, no matter how much I fight with somebody or argue with somebody, it's not gonna matter. There's not
I
much that I
think,
can do about
but I
it.
think that's the problem, man. Like when you can't get through somebody, it's not necessarily that you're trying to get through somebody, just being open-minded, and that goes for everything. Like, politics is like a cutthroat one, like it's very
Yeah, like people, like I know of people who have lost friends over politics. Like what? Like what? You know, like
but
it's
that's
crazy.
because they're not having a balance, they're not having that open-minded, they're not being respectful of the other person. That's the thing, man. Like when it comes to cars, like we can all relate, and then we realize, like, oh, we're so much, alike, then we are different. As soon as somebody says something about either politics or religion or this,
Yeah,
it's like, there's that, because we hold our values, right? We hold our values, and depending on the way we were raised, and if some of us are not willing to even give you the try to understand, oh, you see things like this because you were raised like that, that becomes an issue. But if somebody's open-minded, it's like, yeah, I agree or I disagree, but I still think that you should have the right for that. And so it kind of goes back to what you were saying. You're the big homie in the car community saying, hey, build it the way you want. I would suggest this, but if you don't want to, go anyways with whatever your gut's telling you. But that's because you're open-minded.
I mean it's just as cliche as it sounds. It's true though. It's just the way that I would want to be treated. You know. It,
It's that cliche. It's simple. It's common sense, but
well,
we forget that
yeah, of course. And
because we're all
it,
right in our own way.
it's just the way that I would. It's just the way that I would like to be treated. You know, when I reach out to so and so that has a million followers, is it hard to keep up? With messages? Yeah, yeah, yeah. But like it's like if I did have the opportunity to speak with somebody like that, it's just the way that I would like to be treated, or it's the same way that I wish somebody would have helped me
Mhm.
when I was in that position. And that's like just big homie shit, because I got big homies. I got Rick, Raul, my homie Luis, Juan. I could just go on and go on and on, man. And I'm thankful to have people like that are able to guide me, even like apart from cars, dude. Just in life, because I have friends who make over six figures, easily over six figures, and I consider them successful. Where in a sense they want more, and that's not bad. I'm ambitious too. I want more. You know, um, and so the way that they show me things or tell me things, like I know it's coming from experience. You know, and they've been in the position that I've been in, and so it just means more from somebody that has gone through things like that. And I've tried to guide some of the friends that I went to high school with in a certain direction. Like I said, I've gone through some dark times in my life, man. Thankfully, I'm doing a lot better. Um, and I've tried to guide some of my friends. Hey, man, like maybe you shouldn't be like drinking throughout the week. If you're got X and X problems. Especially if it's financially. You know, like I said, I don't make the most money. Um, and when I started realizing things and taking accountability is when my life started to turn around, you know, and just trying to be like big homie shit, just trying to help people out in any way, and it could be that small little thing that you tell them, like Jake telling you about, go and fucking start it. And here you are 3 years later, man. We have like 40,000 subs more.
I don't know about that, but some,
How you have a lot, no? You have a lot.
yeah, man. I mean,
You have a lot of subs, and
even one is a lot. And I legitimately mean that,
I mean,
man.
like
Appreciate
I've got my YouTube channel, right? Shameless plug. Is he still you think? No.
shameless plug. Get an easier freaking name because it's so hard to find. The only reason I find it is because it's saved on my computer. On the search history, I click on it,
Yeah.
and I have three of them because I misspelled them all three. No, I kid you not. I kid you not. If I put on YouTube, I start IZZ, three of them pop up, and then I always know the top one is the one to
Like,
go.
like the YouTube thing is very hard, man. It's extremely hard. And I see people all the time on my Instagram. Oh, I want to start a channel. Oh, I just started my channel. Go like and subscribe. And like, truth be told, man, like there's times where I don't watch your videos because I don't like have the time to do it, and that's what makes YouTube a lot harder than Instagram. Instagram, you can just go through pictures and stuff like that. Yeah, you can do IGTV videos, but fuck, I'm not gonna sit through for that. Just like I don't expect a lot of people to sit through this,
Oh, they will.
you
They
know,
will, because there's some cool ass chill people out there. Very supportive.
But and that's the thing, right? Is that like YouTube is a lot harder, man. But just to guide somebody like in the right direction, like you've even told me, come on, fool, like just like you got like all this stuff that you do, just vlog it. But I'm desensitized to it. That's my everyday life. And to me, I don't think anybody wants to see what the hell I do.
In that weird way, I would watch it. I watch all your videos. I mean, I
And
watch it right there that moment. There's times that I'm like eating and then you upload it. I'm like, cool, I get to watch it. But like, there's times that I I am looking forward to seeing what you uploaded. And if there's been one
it,
video that I haven't, I'm like, cool. And if it's a longer video, I'm like, sweet, because I'm gonna just sit there, relax, and
the other day, man, the last video that I uploaded, you know, I think it was like 142 views and like 13 likes. I'm like, dude, that's sick. Like 142 views, like, dude, that's so sick, man.
it's
And like
142 people that are willing to take their time away to
exactly.
watch you see what you're up to. And you don't know where they're from. They could be from across your street or they could be
Dude,
from the other
I've
side of
got
the world.
people I've had people from Chile message me, Argentina message me.
Such a crazy feeling.
Crazy, bro. Crazy. Oh, bro, I love your car. Like in whatever English that they can put it. I speak Spanish, and so like I mean I can tell, and I'll respond to them in Spanish, and they're even more stoked,
Oh
you
yeah.
know. And
Make
because of
videos in
doing
Spanish.
shit like
You
that,
ever get that? Make videos in Spanish?
nah,
Fuck, I get a few of those. Can you make some videos in Spanish? I'm like, dude, do you know how hard this is? Like, I'm going to
yeah,
sleep late, and
you can
then
barely speak English, fool.
freaking dick, and it's hard, man. But like I said, man, I've been blessed. Like the reason why I did it was because of the lack of friends in the car community and not knowing cars. And so now I have friends. I still don't know anything about cars, but now we have this. That's why these conversations to me they're so smooth with you, um, and that's what it comes down to. Stories, man, friendships. Because one day we're not gonna be here, and so that's what I'm telling you, man. I'm always telling you, like, whatever you do, even if you go out for a drive, I want to see it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
for sure.
because I'm saying you need to go viral and you need to get all these subscribers and this. Like, no, man, I want to see it. There's times that I do live sessions, and I always like to start the live sessions with, look at these channels. You guys don't have to subscribe, but I just want you guys to be aware. There's a lot of regular ass dudes out there doing some cool stuff, and no, you know, not trying to be disrespectful to the big, people that do this for a living, that have a lot of subscribers and their videos are now like, you know, whatever the new car is, the Supra, first car, first Supra turbo, first, bigger turbo, first, right now with the GT3. Oh, I just bought a GT3. Oh, I'm gonna wide body my GT. I mean, whatever, super out there. I personally like the dude or the girl who's recording from their phone, and they're building, they're working on
It's
budget
relatable.
cars. I like that, man. I like that. They don't have the best quality or whatever, or they're a family person, and they're working on their cars in the garage at 1 in the morning because their kids go to sleep at 11 or 10, whatever, and then spend time with the wife, and then now they're in the garage working on the car extremely, quietly because they don't want to wake up the kid. Like, that's so cool to me. Um, and so when I see your channel, like, not only are you building Hondas, which we love, not only the fact that I know you on a personal level, which is pretty crazy, um, I get to see the excitement. I get to see some headaches, your throttle body and other stuff, but I get to see the progress through those lenses. And then when I see you in person, I'm like, oh shoot, did you fix this issue? Yeah, yeah, okay, cool. And so I'm able to see that. And we know that the videos most of the time are a little bit, behind. And so I in a weird way, I get to be part of the process with you, and that's why I always tell you, dude, please keep recording because I can't do what you do. And so I like seeing what you do.
Yeah, I definitely do understand that aspect too. I like videos too that are relatable. Like, oh damn, like, oh yeah, I went through that, or damn, now I know. And so it's just, I know it's an excuse, right? Because we'll always make time for whatever we want, and we'll always
Hints.
prioritize whatever
Yeah.
we want, you know. But man, sometimes like I'm just tired, and I've always said it in my videos. I suck at filming because I just want to get shit done,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And every time I finish, I'm like, I should have just filmed it. What the hell is the rush? It's too damn hot to be driving my car anyways, you know? And like whatever little thing I'm doing, I should have just filmed it. Going to the car wash, I should have filmed it. Is it nerve-wracking watching people be like, what the hell is this dude doing? Yeah, man. Ultimately, is it gonna freaking matter? The minute you drive away, you're never gonna see those people again. And I have trouble like doing that, or even like some of my friends jokingly give me shit about it, like, oh, look at this guy, fucking YouTuber, and yada yada. And it's like, like, me da cosa,
Me da cosa.
and it's just like, fuck, dude, it's just hard, but I know I got to do it. I know I got to do it because the minute I start doing it, I see the momentum. I see the momentum in the subscribers. I'm like at 900 and something right now. And it's crazy to think that there's even 900 and something people willing to subscribe. And then we've had this conversation before too. Like, stop worrying about breaking the 1,000. Be worrying about the 900 that already sub. And there is times where I feel real shitty that I haven't like uploaded. But there's also times where I just can't get to it because I'm just exhausted, from work or it's everyday life.
Yeah, and definitely your stuff is so much harder to do because you're actually doing it. It's different than the stuff that I'm doing. So I completely 100% understand that. I think that in those sense though, like whenever you can, even if it's not the greatest angle or the greatest vlog that day, or you think that it was just something so simple like, oh, I went to get tires for the new wheels or whatever the case may be, like that's what you're doing. You're creating friendships, you're creating relationships over the internet. Because one thing that you and I take for granted is the level of car events in Southern California.
Seriously.
And for me, I am well aware that not everybody likes what I'm doing or what I do. I'm okay with that. I know that it might be weird to some people, see me walk around my little GoPro mumbling to myself. I like that. I'll do that. I listen to myself. I'll watch my videos again. I'm like, I like this shit. That's why I do it. I don't need no one's permission or approval to do or not do something. But then you got the other side of thing, which is I guess so many people are always DMing or commenting like, "Hey, thanks for doing that walk around on a Monday night in Ontario." Well, to them, like they live in these different parts of the world that they don't have that. And so for us,
Right.
it's like, a simple car meet on a Sunday morning brings out what would be an entire show and 5 hours away from where they live. Like it's insane. They're looking at like, oh my gosh, this is cars and coffee for you? Like how? And yeah, and for me, I get to see that. And another piece to that is we forget that not everybody goes to these cars and coffees on a regular basis. We don't know how far somebody drove. I mean, and if
Right.
I could give them 5 seconds on a TV screen, I I can understand the feeling, I understand the feeling of getting ignored and my car getting skipped over and looking through all the different coverages from that day. I'm like, oh man, who else was recorded? And then
Yeah.
my car
Yeah.
was, and it's like you recorded both cars that were next to me, but you skipped mine. That's just not my personality. My personality is I don't know who's showing up to these meets. And so if I can show their cars, if I never show a car, it's not because even if I may not like the owner, I'm still going to show their cars. That's just plain and simple. I may not
Right.
talk about it too much, but I'll say, but I've had when I gone to the old school Honda meet, people that come from freaking Arizona and they're there and their car is not the nicest. I know these gentlemen who drives an Integra and it's stock, dude, stock, and not the clean, not a clean paint. Like, and when I met him, he's like, oh, I watched your videos. He got my name wrong, but he's like, I watched your videos. Yeah, I came all the way from Arizona and there was a meet in Pasadena. Oh, okay, we went to Vegas, right? He was there too, and I recognized him. I'm like, sure. He's like, yeah, it's because you post them on your YouTube, so I know it's gonna happen. So I'm like, you drove all the way from Arizona to Vegas, like, yeah. And so the next one in San Diego, I'm gonna go for old school Honda meet. I'm like,
Man, road warriors, bro.
and he was like, thank you for showing my car last time. That made me very special. Like, it was, it was,
Dude.
it was an hour and a half away from me, dude. Like, it was nothing, and for me to just mumble and talk.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like this last weekend, I was hanging out with Eric. Um, and Saturday, we had planned this a long time ago, right? So I have my truck, Eric has his truck. If you don't know, I've got a 2020 Tacoma, and then Eric has a 2020 Colorado. Um, I've got a lift, wheels, tires, suspension. Simple, right? Eric's is still stock. The Colorado platform is a little bit different than the Tacoma. Imagine the Tacoma being like a Civic. Aftermarket support is everywhere, right? So I already knew what I wanted to do with my truck when I got it. So Eric was like, "Oh, there's this Rigs and Coffee meet. Like, you want to go to it in the trucks?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's go. Whatever. I get to hang out with Eric. And so we go, and it was cool, man. It was a nice turnout, right? Saturday morning, like you said, there's people who like would be like, "What the heck is that?" Like, dude, that's like a whole car show, And this is just a Saturday morning for us. And so after that was in Anaheim. So I drove from Myrna Valley to Anaheim, and then from Anaheim we went to Norwalk to Eric's house. And then Eric gets a text from one of his friends saying, "Oh, like come to Moon Eyes. They're having open house." And so we go, and that's 10 minutes from him, from Norwalk. Man, a bunch of old school cars, JDM cars. There was an R33 GTR. And you know what I did? I was like, "Oh man, that's sick, a 33 GTR." Snapped a picture, went about my day. You know how many people would have lost their minds if they saw that? And so
Talk about desensitize.
exactly, and so I took pictures of the event. Well, not of the event, but of course throughout the event and stuff like that, and just stuff that I thought was interesting. Like I've never been to Moon Eyes, and it's a cool facility to see. So I took some pictures of whatever, and whatever, and then I posted it on Instagram. Right, one of my friends, Christian, jokingly, well, I guess it's serious too. Well, whatever. He says California just hits different because I posted pictures of the R33 GTR, and then the next slide was like a Raptor.
The suspension of a truck, no?
Yeah, like Raptor suspension, and then an old school car. And then next was like Moon Eyes, facility. And then like I was just going back and forth between like the Moon Eyes event and then the Rigs and Coffee. And I was like, man, California does hit different. Like I'm so desensitized to it that dudes like in Wisconsin, no offense to anybody in Wisconsin, they, it's just the first thing that I thought of.
Yeah, to Oklahoma.
Like what, like they'd kill for stuff like this.
Yeah.
Like
for us, it's just like, okay, right hand driving Tegra Type R, authentic.
Because I've got friends with Supras, I've got friends with GTRs, I've got friends with R33s, and you just get desensitized to it, which in a sense are kind of ungrateful.
Oh, we're super ungrateful.
But yeah, man, it just California, it's different.
Which it was funny because I was like, I saw that coverage. I'm like, please tell me he vlogged it. He didn't. I know you.
I didn't. You know why I didn't?
Because you were with Eric.
Because I was hanging out with Eric.
Yeah. That's a hard balance. It's a hard balance, and that's the reason why.
And even taking pictures, I didn't even want to do. Because I was hanging out with Eric. Yeah, man. I was hanging out
I'll
with
do
Eric.
pictures. I won't do vlogs.
I was like, oh, hold on. Like, let me snap a pic real quick. I mean, did he need to wait for me? Not really. But, we're kicking it.
Nah, he's super understanding. Eric is
yeah. So I spent some time snapping pics and this and that. And, like, later on in the day, I went to go edit them. And I was like, man, that was, like, really dope. Like, it doesn't matter if I stop somebody's, walking path to take a picture for like 2 seconds and I inconvenience them for a little bit, because I like, my bad, for doing that. But like at the end of the day, it didn't matter because like, damn, look at these pictures I took.
Well, yeah, for me, that's what it is. That's like you get to see a difference when I go to an event by myself and then when I go with somebody else, because then the video is completely different. It's still me walking around mumbling, but it's not as detailed. And that to me, that's the reason why I do those. Like I've said it many times. I go and I even record the Monday night meets because I think it's.
You going today?
I'm not because yesterday I was washing my car and I messed up my back. I'm getting old. Talk about getting old. I was not doing anything specific. I was just bending down, washing it. I came up and I was like, oh man, that was like a pain. And it's still, I'm still better. I'm going to go back to work tomorrow, which it's not the best timing to hurt my back. But Nah, I'm not going tonight. But um, again, it's one of those things where like, what's the problem? I'll go next Monday. You know what I mean? Like that's how crazy it is. And some people would have been like,
Yeah.
I don't care if I have back pain. I'm gonna go. I clean my car. I got my car, my car ready. I'm going. Um, but that's the reason why I blog. That's the reason why I take pictures. It's a moment in time, and in that moment in time, it's really what I'm really looking forward to. Even the same things with these conversations, man. In 10 years, I don't know where we're gonna be in life, but you know, if we sit back and listen to this conversation 10 years and see like where life took us, like
Yeah,
it's
man.
it's wild. That's the whole point. That's the reason why we do this.
And the
And
scary part is time flies, man.
oh, it goes faster
I
when
was just talking to my friend, today, while I was driving back to work. When I started at this company, I didn't know anything about this industry. Pretty intimidating because you're dealing with medical equipment. Um, and I remember talking to my boss. I was like, "Yeah, one day I want to be like an engineer for the company. Like that'd be sick." Because the way I processed it was just like mechanics working on a car, working on a machine, gives you error code, you troubleshoot, diagnose, fix it. It's a good feeling, being hands on, using my tools and stuff. Fast forward 6 years later, man, I'm on the path to being an engineer for the company, and I'm extremely close to actually being titled an engineer for the company. And, like you said, 10 years from now, where is life going to take us? And my boss has always told me, like, dude, I cannot wait for the day where you and I are just sitting in our offices and we're just like managing other people, thinking, holy crap, dude, like, do you remember when it was just like me and you?
Mhm.
Because I work for a small company. It's my boss, myself, and someone else. And we're thinking about hiring, well, we want to hire another person under an internship by me. Like
That's crazy.
I would be that person's, you know,
Immediate
trainer.
supervisor, whatever. Mhm.
Yeah. Like, bro, insane, right? And so like my boss has always told me that, like, dude, I seriously can't wait like for the day where like you and I are just like chilling in our offices or somewhere thinking like, see, man, like it's all, sick. It all worked out.
See, we could have gotten here faster, but you kept going for part runs on your lunch. Fool.
But yeah, man, I mean, dude, 10 years from now, like I would love to listen back to this. Even a year from now, bro.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because I think we underestimate what we can do in a month, in 6 months, in a year. We definitely do.
Small progress is better than no progress.
Always.
And if in a month there's small progress, just imagine in a year, how much small progress can add up, you know. But yeah,
Yeah, I
I'm
read some.
excited.
Yeah, I read some quote that said there's change every day, but it's not until like a long time that when you look back, then you realize like that's the crazy that we're changing every single day, one way or another. And
You,
relationships, people, physically we're changing, but you don't notice it because you're every day, and then when you
yeah,
look back, you're like, what the hell? Where did time go? That's how I
shoot,
looked.
man. Even like a year ago, like it's crazy how much has changed from a year ago. You
Yeah,
know, like whether it's cars, friendship, like you said, it's time flies and it's scary. You know, time flies and it's
especially
scary,
as you,
but
especially as you get older, man. Especially as you get older, I feel like time is going extremely quick. There's times that I'm like, damn, like I want time to slow down. I really do. That's why one time I posted, if you have that mentality of thank God it's Friday, then you may have to reevaluate what you do during the week. And obviously, I had a strong opinion conversation with other people about maybe the way they saw thank God it's Friday, things like that nature. I just said, look, I am at that point in my life, and this is just my personal opinion, my personal belief is that on a Tuesday, I want Tuesday to slow down. I'm okay with it being a Tuesday. Yes,
mhm,
the next day I have to go to work. Yes, cool, but I'm not.
in that moment.
I just wanted to slow down. I want to enjoy simple things. After this, I'm gonna go on a walk. Like that's just what I want to do. I'm not I'm not hating life. Like, ah, shit, it's Monday. Like, I gotta tomorrow. I'm gonna go to work. Like, no, there's times I'm like, ah, shoot, I gotta go to work. But then you start thinking about like the privilege that you do have to be able to have a job, to be healthy, to be with your family, etc. And then, yes, there's days that you're like, God, today was a rough day for X, Y, or Z reason. But in general, most days, I'm just thinking like, dude, it needs to slow down because it's going extremely fast and you don't get time back. And time
Yeah,
is extremely important, if not the most important thing. Um, and before you know it, dude, I turned 30. Like, that's wild. Like, now I'm 30. Like, I'm no longer 20. I still think like I met my wife when I was 19. Like, where did that time go? Like, holy crap. Like, I'm 30?
crazy, man. Yeah, okay, even for me, like I said, jokingly or not, I feel like I'm getting old. I'm 26, and I shouldn't be feeling the way that I'm feeling, but I do, and that's just me personally. You know, it doesn't the way I feel, the way if you're 30, right, and you feel a certain way, it doesn't take away from the fact that I feel a certain way
Right, definitely. Yeah, yeah.
that I'm at. You know what I mean? We've all experienced different things. I feel like mentally, man, when I was like 18 years old, mentally I was way further ahead than people that age. You know, uh, even people like the same age now as me. Like, thankfully, I'm in a better position than most
Hmm.
people that I went to school with. Some people are still in the same bullshit, but if they're happy, who am I?
Yeah.
You know,
We all got
who am
different
I?
paths. We all have different, hopefully, goals. And, or if you don't have
But,
goals, then that's on you,
you
whatever
know,
we're
and,
striving for.
and that's why I feel old, man. I don't know if it's because I got friends who are older. A lot of my friends, I want to say like maybe 90% of my friends, they're all older than me, and I'm not talking a year or two. I'm talking like significantly older than me. 5, 6, 7, 8 years older than me, and it's good to have those friendships,
Hmm.
because they definitely do provide that big homie guidance. It's funny to say, but it's just the way that I could put it to relatable terms, to somebody that's going to be watching this, and really understand like what I mean by that,
No, yeah, definitely. And there's some 50-year-old dudes out there that are like, I wish I was 30, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we all have
Yeah,
different. Yeah, yeah, I
yeah,
get
yeah,
you. Yeah, before we
yeah.
know, I'm gonna be 50. You're gonna be, 46, and that's it. Like, well, my friend, easy. Before this recording gets cut out, I put it for 3 hours. I didn't think I was gonna need all 3 hours,
Please.
but that's good though, man. I definitely whenever I'll give it some time, and if you're willing to come back and we talk, I can talk to you for a long time, dude. I mean, we always do it.
Dude, seriously, like, I mean, I've even told you before. We have one video on my channel of you and I just talking in my hatchback when
Hmm.
we're driving to Bryant's house, and it was something similar to this, way shorter. But anytime, man, like, seriously, just give me a heads up and we'll make time to do it. Um, but it's always good talking to you, man, and
Nah, man, it's great talking to you,
hopefully,
dude. And
hopefully,
we gotta have those.
it's amazing talking to you.
We gotta get those. Is it hot dog breakfast?
The breakfast dogs from Sonora.
We gotta get some of those soon.
Breakfast dogs from Sonora Grill. Yeah, man,
Okay.
super fire. But yeah, man, thanks for having me on, and
Nah, man.
hopefully somebody out there can take something of whatever we blabbed about, and it can apply it to themselves and hopefully better themselves. And like I said earlier, if you made it this far into the video or into the podcast, my DMs are always open if you have any questions regarding anything. If I can help you out in any way, I will. And I literally expect nothing in return.
Well, I've definitely, if you want to say if there's anybody out there, well, that's just me. There's me who will be taking a lot of lessons away from it. Obviously, I still have to go over this footage and edit, and so I will be listening to it. Um, there's so much that we unpacked, especially you, obviously, that it will motivate people. It's definitely motivating me. Hence why I'm still on this journey, because I've encountered people like you, and so Izzy, get home, go eat something, dude. It's been a long day for
Oh, I
you.
ate. Trust me, I ate,
It
bro.
was like ribs, no?
Yeah, I had some ribs. They're beef ribs, man. Shit, those things are massive. But I had some barbecue. Stopped on the way home with
See, it's
some
so
stuff.
easy to continue talking, dude.
I
Because we're about to
know.
start talking about food. I don't want this to just, and even if it was to die, I'd be like, okay, cool. But I think,
I didn't jump on the phone.
hey, call me when you're driving home. But no, easy. Get home safe. Thank you so much, man. We'll definitely, again, I'll give you some time, and then if you want to jump back in, I think people definitely will want to
Yeah, man.
hear
I mean,
updates on the
whatever,
Civic and just on you, and
whatever,
um,
man. I mean,
conversations are so easy, man.
we could even do a whole nother different, podcast interview regarding my car if people want to do that.
Yeah.
This is actually pretty cool, man. So this is like one of my favorite pictures that I've ever taken of my hatchback.
Mm-hmm.
And this was like in one of the early stages of its stuff.
Oh, we had the different type of
That's
wheels
a,
back there.
let
Ooh,
me
yeah.
see. Hold on. Let's see. That's a replica backyard special wing. That's an S2000 muffler that I had, made it to fit. Kazay K1s, cut fenders, some random splitter from some car. This is a whole different vibe. And then, this is how it used to currently sit.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, it's just cool, man. Like one of my favorite phases of the car. This is when I enjoyed it the most. You know, this is when I really, really enjoyed the car. And in this phase, believe it or not, I kind of don't enjoy it as much. I love it, but I know for a fact I had way more fun when it
Mm-hmm.
was like this. You
Well,
know,
hopefully you can get it to a stage that you go back to having so much fun. But for now, man, thank you so much for the time. We'll definitely catch you very, very soon. I'll make that happen for sure. And then, like I said, man, a million thanks is not enough for what you do, not only to me, for me personally, but to other people. Definitely hear a lot of good stuff about you, man. And that's the reason why you have such a positive circle.
appreciate that, Gus, man. Uh,
No llores, no
whenever,
llores, don't
whenever,
cry. Because
whenever
now
you're
I'm
ready
gonna
for
start
another,
crying.
whenever you're ready for another 3 hours, we'll do it, man.
Well, it was supposed to
And
be an hour.
I know he said set aside an hour. I was like, all right, cool.
This guy an hour. All right, man. You take care. I definitely appreciate everybody who listened to the Offset Conversations. A moment just to sit back with another car enthusiast. But obviously, we talk more than just cars, and hopefully, this helped you in any way, shape, or form. And please subscribe to his YouTube channel. And yeah, he's gonna hopefully he produces more videos, right?
That's the plan, man. I always get a sense of motivation after talking to you, and I just gotta get to it.
All right, let's get to it, big homie. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
man. Appreciate
no
it, man.
problem. Peace out.